Welcome into Three Man Front on this Thursday. Pat Landrum, Molly Conrad with you for the next 4 hours. I hope everybody's having a wonderful, bit chilly out there.
It is. Happy Valentine's Eve, guys.
Happy pitchers and catchers.
What?
Baseball workouts.
Pitchers and catchers, yep. I saw Acuna doing sprints the other day.
Did it excite you?
Oh, man, he looks so good. His form.
Did he?
Yep.
He was taking some BP the other day, wasn't he?
Yeah, one swing.
It was gone. Home run. One swing.
It was perfect. Matt Olson was like, "You're not going to take any more swings?" He was like, "No, I'm good. That's all I need."
The whole spring training. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done.
I do not need any more.
I'm just going to hang out.
I'm in midseason form. Let's wrap him in bubble wrap and do not get hurt.
Amen, Pat. Oh.
There you go. Speaking of baseball, so, one of the major announcers for ESPN is Carl Ravitch. So Carl Ravitch made a little headlines the other night during the Alabama-Texas game. And just to remind everybody, this is what Carl had to say during the University of Texas, University of Alabama basketball game.
So think about it. We know how dominant they were in the non-conference.
Okay, let's try to start this over, shall we?
Wow, good morning.
Clear your throat, Carl.
Yeah.
All right, Carl, let's try this again. No? Yes? Maybe?
If Ravi happens to be listening, he's like, "Man, I hope that clip doesn't play."
I'm waiting.
Enough is enough, people.
This isn't towards Conrad. It's the computer system.
It is. Blame Bill Gates.
Are we ready now? All right, let's try this again. A reminder, this is what Carl Ravitch had to say the other night during the Alabama game.
So think about it. We know how dominant they were in the non-conference season, the SEC. They were 185-23. Since January 4 into Tuesday, the SEC teams are 82-82. It's not as if one team or two teams or three. They're 82-82. Like, there's been no ability to pull away. There's no dominant group of teams.
All right, so that's what he said. So yesterday at 12:23 p.m., he tweeted out the following. Just landed and see X is on fire. Simple explanation. Tongue-in-cheek, 82-82 record was to illustrate any night either team can win and one will. Clearly very poor execution on my part. It's amazing that Alabama Auburn have only lost once in such a great conference. That's all. So that was what he tweeted at 12:23 p.m. Now, we just played the audio cut. And I'm not trying to rake him over the coals, but did that sound anywhere near tongue in cheek?
No.
Not even a giggle. I mean, he doubled down, did he not?
He did.
I mean, he was trying to take a shot at the SEC, essentially, yeah.
For this dominating conference, just like Archie Miller did.
Look, let's not pretend that we've never done this. In some facet of our lives, we've done it, and we've had time to go, okay, let's come up with what could I float out there that people might believe. And with the audio there's no way.
That was not tongue in cheek.
No, it was not tongue in cheek.
Okay, so that was 12:23 p.m. I read what he tweeted. 3 hours later at 3:49 p.m. This is why you love social media. Because everything you put on it, somebody's going to capture it somewhere. 4 hours after landing and reading all the responses, it is overwhelming. I will heed the advice of my ex-friends and take the L. My bad, my mistake. Always appreciate the feedback and grateful for the audience. A bunch of huge games left. Let's enjoy them. So 3 hours pass, and all of a sudden he decides, well, you know what? I'm going to take the L. My bad, my mistake. So which is it? It was just all a joke? I was having fun?
I think he's ready to move on, but it sounded like he'll never admit it, but no, I think that he knew that
he screwed up.
He screwed up. What I would do, though, whoever has the opening game on Saturday, that's the stat that I would throw out. If somebody is comfortably in the lead with the final few minutes, whatever if right now the SEC 83-80, whatever.
83.
No,
I'm right. I'm right there with you.
I think technically now it's 87-87.
87-87?
I believe so.
I think you're right. But no, why would you not just come out and make the second statement
First.
because you got burned and then you tried to cover it up and you got burned again. And then you had to actually admit that, yeah, I made a mistake, which is fine, right? Like you said, we all make mistakes. We all find a stat that you look at and you go, wow, that's eye catching, but you don't really maybe do as much background work on it. And then you realize, maybe that wasn't really a stat that I should have been giving out. But yeah, just admit it. Hey, I saw this stat. I thought it was great. Didn't think about it. Boom, my mistake.
First game, announcer on Saturday. The SEC approaching their 88th win in conference play and their 88th loss.
Or just don't mention the wins. Just say it's their 88th loss.
I tried this out on a couple of people last night. So, Ravi, it's one of those, I don't know, what would you call it? It's just a, help me out, Pat. Well, with something like this, it wouldn't be like a riddle or a puzzle, but it's kind of like
an enigma.
An enigma. Okay.
It's a conundrum.
A conundrum.
It's a rhyme wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma.
It's a Rubik's Cube. But going back to, well, I can't operate. It's my son. Kind of with, I don't know if that even goes in line with it when there's a stereotype or there's a preconceived mindset that a doctor can only be a man. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were going with the riddle of, the doctor can't operate on the son, but it's the other, like those kind of riddles.
No, but it's the mom
very obvious.
who's actually the doctor.
Yeah. No, I mean,
shout out to all our women doctors out there.
It's just a bad stat. It was a troll, and that's the funny thing is that it was a University of Alabama student that put out this stat weeks ago as a troll, just kind of poking fun at how people, I guess, don't want to give credit to the SEC or whatever, and it has taken on a life of its own.
It's just amazing.
Since then. And the fact that you had a sitting head basketball coach recite it, we all made fun of that, and I guess Carl Ravitch just completely missed that whole...
But even trying to explain it to people that had no idea that this was going on, they're like, wait a minute, what? Explain that to me again.
Well, here's the thing that bothers me.
And that's why it works.
Being a former ESPN employee, I can tell you that the volumes of information that you have access to from stats and information, it is unbelievable. It's so much information. I'm talking about, it could be just a weeknight basketball game. The data that they give you for you to consume, it's like drinking through a fire hose. I mean, it is a lot. And I just wonder if somebody in Bristol was not doing their job properly and actually put that in a note somewhere.
Well, see, I like to think that there's a stats intern or somebody that did that as a joke, thinking, oh, well, they're not actually going to say that. And then, yeah. So hopefully no one lost their job over it. But yeah, that's how I like to think it went down.
When that other stat, and I sent you that tweet that Chipper Jones had quote tweeted.
Yeah, that was great.
And the thing that struck me was the Ivy League has only played 28 games. Or they got 28 wins and 28 losses.
Yeah, well, they're smart up there. Do you think somebody from the Ivy League figured that stat out?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were.
Anyway, listen,
what are we arguing about?
I think Carl
common people.
I never have met Carl, but watching him over the years, I think he does a great job. So I'm just having a little fun.
No, we've had Ravi on the show before,
but
it's been a while. Probably the last time.
But I just thought that was interesting.
Probably.
It was 3 hours of all of a sudden, at first it was tongue in cheek. And then it was like, no, my bad. I made a mistake.
I was about to say, and that's the lesson you can take from it is if you make a mistake, just say, hey, I made a mistake, won't happen again. My bad. Let's enjoy the basketball.
Yep.
That's all you had to do.
Well, speaking of basketball, our own Molly was on the side court last night at Samford. And unfortunately, the Samford Bulldogs, they lose at home 82-68. So I'm going to ask you not to get deep into the weeds here,
right.
But a very disappointing night over at Siebert.
It was. And what hurt was, so, UTC, they came into the game on a 5-game win streak.
Mm-hmm.
And you were kind of hoping that this would be the time that Samford would break that because the last time that UTC lost was to Samford a couple weeks ago. And this was also one of the battles for the top spot in the SoCon because they all set at 9-3 going into the game with UNCG. And unfortunately, UTC, they got ahead early. I think Samford started off on a 6-0 skid, or 0-6 skid, excuse me. And like I said, UTC, they got on like a 9-0 run in the beginning. And then towards the tail end of the game, too, Samford missed like 11 of their shots, didn't score for 9 minutes.
Oh, wow.
They only shot like 20% from beyond the arc. I think 38 from the field. So.
And how did they close?
Not good.
Wasn't it? Didn't ETSU went on a run to close the game,
They
right?
did, yeah. And like I said, Sanford could not get anything going offensively, especially for the last few minutes.
Yeah, Sanford missed 23-point shots last night. 20.
Ooh.
Nothing.
What was the Pete like? Was it good atmosphere?
It was in the beginning, and it was funny because the student section, they wore these white headbands inspired by Rylan Jones because he always wears a white headband. And, you know, I talked to a few people before the game started, like why that started. And he said, you know, it helped him shoot better. And like a while ago, he'd gotten a bad haircut and helped keep sweat out of his eyes.
And there you go, bad haircut.
And then everyone just kind of took it and ran with it, but wasn't very lucky last night. And, you know, I got to talk to Dan Earl, the UTC coach, about kind of what they learned from the last time they played Sanford. And he said last time we didn't really play a complete basketball game. We didn't have control. And that was what they focused on this game. And it was evident. They led the entire game, didn't trail once. And I mean, like I said, Sanford, they did a pretty good job defensively. Like, they out-rebounded. The turnover margin was about the same, but like I said, they couldn't get anything going offensively.
So it's disappointing that Sanford loses last night, so they fall back in the SoCon. They're one game back. They have a 9-4 record, and so now Chattanooga's tied with North Carolina Greensboro for first place there. Oh, my goodness.
Ho! At 10:11 here on a Thursday, that sound means there's breaking news. And for more, we send it to Waffle Stopper Van Order.
Thank you, Landrum. Just fresh out of the shower, and here we have some breaking news. So this is coming actually straight from the mouth. The New York Jets have just posted on social media with a nice picture of a lovely Jets football helmet, and they have said, "We have informed Aaron Rodgers that we will be moving in a different direction at quarterback."
No.
So the New York Jets making it official that they will not be bringing back Aaron Rodgers for a third season.
Start spreading the news. He's leaving today.
Did you see where Matthew Stafford is the hot rumor right now?
I have seen him rumored to both of the teams
in New York.
New York,
Yep.
yes.
That is the big NFL rumor. And one thing's for sure, by Aaron Rodgers taking that meeting last week before the Super Bowl, by going back to New York, that gives you the indication that he definitely is leaning or was leaning to return.
Yeah, I don't think
for
he's going to
another season.
retire.
So now the question is, who is going to take a flyer on Aaron Rodgers?
I think I know.
I was going to say
Kellen
the Raiders.
Moore and the New Orleans Saints.
That's also not a bad one. Saints, Raiders, really any of the places that got a new head coach. He'll have some options. Don't know if he'll like them, but he'll have options.
He can eat his mushrooms in New Orleans.
I'm sure he can.
There's plenty of dark places in New Orleans he can go and hang out.
There's a lot of dark.
There's
definitely a lot of, there's what, voodoo?
I was about to say, I could see him picking up voodoo as a side craft.
I hope not. He's
Just
already,
make a little Woody Johnson voodoo doll. Just sit there in his living room.
Would it be the Woody Johnson voodoo doll?
No, it might be I don't know, maybe a Jordan Love one.
I think
Matt
he
LaFleur one.
I think he still holds the general manager of the Packers responsible for all of his problems.
You know, it's pretty interesting.
Gooden
Did you watch Enigma on Netflix?
I watched one episode of it, and
I watched it all, and believe it or not, I came across that there was not this animosity between him and Jordan Love at all.
no, I mean he did actually seem like he took that in stride, because I believe he said that he wanted to treat Jordan Love differently than how Brett Favre treated Aaron Rodgers, because that relationship I don't think was great. So no, I do think he was actually a pretty solid teammate.
Yeah. So that's the breaking news in the NFL. Apparently, the New York Jets, they are officially now moving on from Aaron Rodgers. Last night in the SEC, back to basketball, Ole Miss, they knock off South Carolina. Malik Dia, who absolutely torched Alabama for a win, he went for 18 points. He had 12 down the stretch. Ole Miss, think about this. They barely beat the two worst teams in the Southeastern Conference. Remember, they got a tip-in over the weekend against LSU. And then last night, they pull off a 4-point win against South Carolina. So South Carolina, they're now 0-11. And it doesn't get better for the Gamecocks. They play Florida on Saturday. Ole Miss is now 8-4 in conference play.
Well, at least there's one less guy that you got to face with or worry about. One less 7-footer with Florida.
Yeah. Hopefully Condon's okay, but yeah.
Meanwhile, the 21st ranked Missouri Tigers, they win against Oklahoma last night, 82-58. The Tigers, Mark Mitchell, 25 points. Mizzou is a game out of third place. Now think about this. We talk about Alabama's schedule and Auburn's schedule as they finish. It is a gauntlet. Mizzou, 5 of its last 7 games are against teams in the bottom half of the SEC standings.
Looky there.
So Mizzou can potentially put themselves in a really good position to maybe get that bye until Friday. SEC tournament starts on a Wednesday. And if you're one of the top 4 teams, you don't play till Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be huge for them. This is Oklahoma's 3rd straight blowout loss. Now, I know they're still on the line to make the tournament, but they lost 28 points to Auburn, 18 to Tennessee, and they lost by 24 last night to Missouri. So they are trending in the wrong direction. But this is a stat that blew me away. These 2 teams, Landrum, they have played 213 times between the 2. For reference point, Auburn and Alabama have played 170 times.
Oh,
Isn't that crazy?
it is.
The first game between Alabama and Auburn happened in 1924. But to have Oklahoma and Missouri play 213 times and Auburn and Alabama's only played 170, that's pretty amazing.
Was 1924, was that Peach Basket days?
Possibly. I don't know.
I'll look that up. Porter Moser, I think.
Why is he so loud?
I don't.
I know he is really loud. Though.
He's really loud.
Shut that door. I don't want to hear him have these conversations.
His contract runs through 2028, Pat, but I could see them maybe making a move.
You think so?
Yeah, if they don't make the tournament this year.
We'll
And-
ask Coach tomorrow about it because obviously he knows Porter.
And I hate to say that a team looks like they've quit, but Oklahoma does not look like they were playing a lot of inspired basketball lately.
No, not right now. Like I said, losing to 28 to Auburn, 18 to Tennessee, and then you take it 24 points last night on the road to Mizzou. So that was bad. And then the battle of Arkansas and LSU. The Hogs win it at home, 70 to 58. LSU scored 23 points in the second half. 23. They scored 23 more points than me and you did yesterday.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, there you go. Hogs now 4-7. LSU falls to 1-10. And Conrad, I heard you and Damian this morning on your award-winning program, the Damian Mitchell Show.
It's Conrad and friends.
No, it's special guest Conrad Van Order. That now Arkansas is the 14th team that is in the tournament, according to Joe Lenardi.
That's correct. Yeah, that was what he said going into the game was if Arkansas could pull off the win, that they would slide up.
How about that?
A seed
You beat
line.
a 1-9 team in the SEC, and you're in the NCAA basketball tournament. Why
Yeah,
not?
and so now you've got Arkansas and Georgia, if everything stays the same, where they would both be, I guess, the last 4 in teams from the SEC. So real close to only getting 12 teams in. But yeah, shout out to Arkansas and Coach Cal for the run they had to go on to get back in this position.
That's an Arkansas team, though. If they do book a ticket to the tournament, I could see them. That we see it in the NCAA tournament all the time.
Probably don't want to play them.
Making a run, at least getting to the Sweet 16. I had them in the Elite 8.
Nah, they'll lose to Oakland in the first round. Jack
Oakland,
Golke's coming back.
High Point.
There's another one in there. I'm trying to remember who it was. St. Peter's.
Longwood.
Oh yeah.
Longwood,
Yeah.
the Lancers, Oakland,
Yeah.
It's been a few.
Monmouth,
Is Edmonton going to be in the tournament
Edmonton
this year?
State.
Edmonton,
Yeah.
They play in the Northeast League.
Oh,
the
okay.
Edmonton Institute.
Updated SEC basketball standings: Auburn, Bama 10-1, Florida 8-3, A&M 8-3, Ole Miss 8-4, Mizzou 7-4, Tennessee 7-5, Kentucky 6-5. It's pretty amazing. Where just a few minutes ago, Tennessee was a top 4 team, and they're sitting here at what, like 6th, 7th in the SEC in the standings. Mississippi State 5-6, Vandy 5-6, Arkansas 4-7, Texas 4-8, Georgia 4-8, Oklahoma 3-8, and then the bottom 2, the only 2 that is not in the big dance, according to Joe Lenardi, is LSU 1-10 in conference play in South Carolina. And I will give South Carolina credit. Unfortunately, I have watched like 3 or 4 of their games, and they haven't won, but they have not quit.
They play real hard.
And they had Ole Miss on the ropes last night. I mean, they were playing. Pringle had a really good game last night for South Carolina, but it just did not work out for him. He had the same problems at South Carolina as he did at Alabama.
Oh, funny.
Didn't
They
really
gave him
shoot
a lot
free
of
throws very
NIL
well.
money.
Well, at least he's been there for all their games this year.
Great point.
That was a problem.
And
at
a fair
times.
point.
That was a problem at times.
Yeah, you gotta be there to help.
Your best ability is your availability, as they say.
Very much. So, Molly, our Pat Ponder's Twitter poll question of the day had to do with the SEC regular season.
Yeah, which SEC team will end the regular season with the most conference wins? Will it be Auburn, Alabama? Auburn and Alabama will have the same record, or a different team? Right now, winning is Auburn with 45.2%, and it's pretty close. So, in second right now is Auburn, Alabama having the same record with 27.7, but 24.9 voting for Alabama. Only 2.3 saying it'll be a different team.
How's the tiebreaker work?
Head to head is the first one.
Well, that would, but
But if they split, then I believe you go to the next team in the standings. The record against that team.
Oh, okay.
So if Florida is,
So since Auburn lost to Florida, if Alabama were to beat them,
But Missouri would have the head-to-head over Florida because Missouri beat Florida at Florida, if you remember earlier in the season. So if Missouri's there, Alabama plays Missouri next week, even if Alabama beats Auburn on Saturday and then trips
it could
up.
be just like football. It could be like you're going down to the
coin flip,
like
if we're lucky.
RS on the outline breakdown of the tiebreaker.
Maybe the tiebreaker should be fan enthusiasm at home games.
Who has the newer arena? We'll just give it to Auburn then.
All right, this is the Thursday edition of Three Man Front. Our first guest will not be until 11 a.m., and that is Rodney Orr from Tider Insider. Rob Pate will be along as well. Coming up at 12:30, Christy Dosh is going to join us. Christy does an outstanding job covering the sports business world. Also, she's got a book out about NIL, so we will get into that with her in the 12 o'clock hour. Love to hear from you, 1-800-239-WJOX. This is Three Man Front. 1025 Jocks 94.5 1-800-239-WJOX. The Courtesy GMC text line is wide open for you right now. 205-834-9450. Our first guest will be Rodney Orr coming up at 11 o'clock. Rob Pate as well. And Christy Dosh. We'll talk some NIL with her in the 12 o'clock hour.
Mandu in downtown Homewood, it's electrical muscle stimulation fitness. If you're looking for a quick in and out and you're going to get results, you don't have to spend hours in the gym. Mandu is the place for you. It's right there in downtown Homewood. You can check them out. Wonderful staff. Paul and his entire staff, they do a great job of just making you feel welcome when you come in. Your first visit is absolutely free. They'll put you into a specially designed suit, hook you up to a machine that sends electric pulses to various parts of your body. They'll put you through a 15-minute workout. Just 15 minutes. That's how revolutionary this approach is. You're going to get results. It's the equivalent to 6 to 8 hours in a gym. Mandu in downtown Homewood. Once again, your first visit is free. You can try the workout to see if you like it. I can almost promise that you will. I can guarantee if you choose Mandu, you're going to get results. Mandu in downtown Homewood, MANDUU.com, and make sure you tell them Landrum from Jocks 94.5 sent you.
Well, I do have some bad news for folks out there that have YouTube TV.
Don't you do this to me.
Unless something happens, you're going to have to find another outlet to watch the NCAA basketball tournament.
What?
Paramount and YouTube have come to an impasse, and all CBS-owned broadcast entities have been taken off YouTube TV.
That's terrible.
Sorry.
Because I'm with you, Landrum. I also have YouTube TV.
Well, you should have DirecTV like me and Conrad. We will
No,
be
we
able
shouldn't.
to watch
No.
it,
No.
and we're going to
No.
enjoy
That's a racket,
it.
too.
It's not a racket.
It
Me
is.
and Conrad, we enjoy DirecTV, don't we?
Pat, you pay
We
a
love it.
mortgage payment for your television.
Yeah, see, I don't because I just have it connected to the one TV in my living room.
Well, you're sensible.
Yes.
So, yeah, now they're belly aching because they're not going to get to watch the NCAA basketball tournament like me and you are.
Well,
Well,
we'll
we
have
kind of
fun.
need it.
They'll reach a deal eventually. I
You
have
think?
faith.
Will
Yeah.
they?
Oh,
Molly,
just like we thought. How long did we go?
Yeah.
Molly, we got sponsors
Yeah.
they'll host us.
Who's the kid that would live stream for y'all?
I don't know.
Some kid in Guatemala.
That's private information.
Yeah.
You know what?
That
You know
was
what,
a-
this
now
year-
you want it. Now you want
They
the
made fun
information.
of us for.
Uh-huh.
Hey,
for-
forget about. I'm not going to even watch it this year. I'm going to listen to it on Westwood One.
That's what you should
That's
do.
the right answer.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It says the Paramount-owned channels, including CBS on broadcast and the CBS Sports Network, are set to go dark today. YouTube TV sent an email out. You should have gotten it last night. Did you not get an email from them?
I
Or did you not
usually
read
just I delete a lot of emails.
Okay, well, they sent out an email to the customers last night
They
telling
should have
them
texted me.
that they have been an important partner, but they're still active in the conversations with Paramount. They're hopeful they can come to an agreement, but when they take it off, they're going to give you an $8 credit. So congratulations. You can't watch the
Oh.
NCAA tournament, but you get an $8 credit.
So you can use that for entertainment purposes while you're listening to the games on the radio, Landrum. That's great.
So what? So everybody was yelling and screaming about us DirecTV customers about,
We fought for this, Pat.
then all of a sudden,
we were waiting for this moment.
YouTube TV is the greatest thing ever.
You guys,
Ever.
look, DirecTV, you'll have an impasse with somebody here pretty soon. Something that you like, Pat.
Yeah, in football season, but we're not worried about that right now.
No.
I'm not worried about it either.
No, I'm
I'm
not at all.
going to listen to the entire tournament right here on Jocks.
Yeah, same.
That's what you should do.
Mhm.
Should do that.
You guys
anyway.
should do that as well.
I will. I'll have it on
Yeah.
Jocks while I'm watching it with my eyes
Yeah.
as well.
Yes. The second screen coverage.
That's
Are
right.
you going to do the sync up, or you can sync up the?
Absolutely. Because I want to hear Kevin Harlan.
I actually like to play the radio broadcast of a completely different game while I'm watching another one, just to see how confused I get. That's fun for me.
That seems like it's a lot of fun.
That's fun.
Mhm.
It's fun.
You put tinfoil over your TV.
No, I put it on my head. I don't want the radiation. To
Play
get-
Dark Side of the Moon.
Right.
Have Wizard of Oz on one of the other TVs.
I mean, you
Weirdo.
could get a digital antenna.
I've got one.
There you go. Then you're good.
Yeah, it's not the same. No, I was fired up though because I made the announcement yesterday. I don't think you were in here for that portion, but the FanDuel is going to be carrying Braves games, and you have the streaming for $19.99, and you can just add that streaming service. I can keep YouTube TV, and I don't have to switch over to Fubo.
Boo-boo.
And they're going to
Fubo's
have
clothing
March
manufacturer.
Madness on there too, right?
Well, and if they get by this impasse, I feel like
Man, this
We-
is going to be a lot of fun.
I know, I
no,
love
it's
it.
not. We need an executive order.
I think we're out of those.
No, we're
I
not.
think we've hit the limit.
Nope. Somebody call
And
Washington.
on top of that, you can also hear the Braves on the Jocks Family of Networks.
Yeah.
Instead of you pimping all these other TV channels that you have. I mean, you're sitting here talking about you're going to listen to the NCAA basketball tournament. Just listen.
You can hear Barrett.
Yeah. Why would you not listen to Barrett?
I listen to Barrett pregame, and then I will keep Jocks on, and I will watch just like you guys do with your NCAA tournament nonsense.
You don't seem invested enough.
He's not. Well, if you read your email, it just wouldn't have been a big shock.
Well, let me read the email, and let's see exactly what this thing says.
Yeah, and check your account. See if that $8 is in there already.
Hey, DirecTV gave me and you money.
They did.
They sure did.
They did.
Oh, you know what? Our account's under our family account. I don't even know how to get to that one.
Where's yours, Molly?
I'm still mooching off my parents, so.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Don't forget, Mike Newton just texted me. That means that you will not be able to watch the Masters.
Oh.
I'll be there.
Oh.
Boom, Mike Newton. Just kidding.
Yeah, going to the Masters is way cheaper than DirecTV from what I hear.
It is.
Maybe the sandwiches.
Yeah, that's good.
You can get a good $2 sandwich at the Masters.
I know.
It's awesome.
Well,
I'm not going to the Masters.
You can
this year,
buy
by the
4
way.
sandwiches with the $8 that YouTube TV is going to send you.
That's right.
You could?
That's right.
I decided I was going to get out more anyways this spring.
Oh, okay.
You'll catch the Braves midseason.
Hey, what I can do, Landrum, is I will FaceTime the games to you off my phone.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, off my DirecTV.
No, it's piracy. Nope. Not going to be a part of that, Pat.
Oh, no. No, you would never do that.
Nope.
Okay.
Above board.
Yeah, Landrum's going to come in here trying to figure out his computer virus because he was watching the games on crackstreams.com or something like that, trying to.
You and Adam Schefter.
Yeah.
Well, trust me, it took 10 minutes to open up this computer today because of somebody changing the settings. So
That's where they get you.
Who sits there before you do?
I don't know. I don't know if it was Cole or Damien, but one of you.
One of you.
It was one of you.
All right. Phone calls are coming in. Texts are coming in. We're going to get to those next on 3-Man Front. Conrad, I was just reading the YouTube notice because they can't find anything in their email.
Mhm.
So I read it to them. Yeah,
That's very nice of you.
it is. I was just trying to help them out.
As you can imagine, Pat was very consoling when he read the email. Last thing he said to us is, you guys are dead in the water.
He did. This is true.
Then we came back from break.
I did say that because I think you are.
Me and Molly are making other plans. We're making other arrangements.
We're just going to Augusta.
Dead
That's
in the
what we
water,
do.
moat. I'm just saying.
Mm.
Be careful.
Hey, good
Mhm.
news. Jalen Milroe has officially been invited to the Combine.
Whew, didn't think he was going to get that invite. That's big.
Mhm.
Jackson Dart will be there. Brady Cook will be there. Dylan Gabriel, Seth Hennigan from Memphis, Will Howard, Riley Leonard, Graham Mertz, Jalen Milroe, Curtis Rourke, Shadur Sanders.
He might be
Cam
touring
Ward.
right during the combine.
That's true. He's got a new song, hit song that just came out. So I was just perusing the rest of the folks, seeing if I see Alabama or Auburn guys.
Wait, so was that no Cam Ward?
No, Cam Ward is there.
Okay, he is there. I was
Is there wide receivers going down the list here? It appears that Auburn's Keandre Lambert-Smith, he has been officially invited.
Did they invite Jeremiah Smith? I just figured they'd go ahead and let
Get you
him
acquainted?
get him a head start.
Well,
Yeah.
he's only 15.
Oh, that's right.
Did not see any Alabama wide receivers. Does that shock you?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, how
Isaiah
about
Bond
this?
didn't get it invited?
Robbie Oots.
Okay, there we go.
He has been invited as a tight end.
That's the kind of guy he'll find a spot in the NFL because he'll block for you.
How many
Tyler-
years does Nicholson have left? Graham.
He
I
left.
think he's done.
yeah,
he's done?
He's leaving.
Did he get invited?
I haven't not got down to the kickers yet.
Well, let's get down to special
Come on,
teams.
Pat.
Tyler Booker, he has been invited to the combine. Let's see. Carson Vinson from Alabama A&M,
Okay.
he has been invited. Now the defensive lineman taking a peruse down the list.
This is a perfect encapsulation of this last year because for the last, 10, 15 years, you would have had 30 Alabama and Auburn players.
How about this? And this is cool. And Landry will appreciate this. Q Robinson.
All right.
Q Robinson has been invited. Tim Smith has been invited.
Okay.
Now looking at the linebackers, Eugene Asante from Auburn. He has been given an invite. Jahad Campbell
Mm-hmm.
from Alabama. Jalen McLeod from Auburn. He has officially been invited. Now checking out the DBs on the list. Malachi Moore, the pride of Hewitt-Trussville High School.
Oh,
He
yeah.
will be there in
Huskies.
Indianapolis. That's right. Specialist. Here we go.
Oh, yay.
This is what you wanted.
Finally.
The kicker from Miami.
Mm-hmm.
The punter from Florida.
Yes.
The kicker from Florida State.
Hmm.
Matter of fact, I think that might have been the only player from Florida State to be invited.
He was busy this year.
The kicker from Arizona,
Oh, I love him.
the kicker from Pittsburgh, and one other player was invited as a specialist.
Long snapper.
James Burnham.
James Burnett from Alabama.
He was our best player this year. He was the most consistent.
Moonshots.
So there you go.
He was great.
There's your Alabama Auburn, and I did not see any UAB players listed
So no Graham Nicholson.
on that list. No, he was not. He was not invited.
He might have forgotten how to kick. He only kicked like 5 field goals this year. He might be a little rusty.
Yeah.
Was he worth the kidnapping?
No, but it's
It's
not
okay.
his-
He's gone.
No, but it's not his fault. They just didn't need him.
Well, we're currently in the middle of flu season, so make your home healthier with Trane's Clean Effects Home Air Cleaner. It removes up to 99.9% of airborne particles, including those that cause virus, is 100 times more effective than standard air filters and 8 times more effective than HEPA room filters. So go find a dealer near you at Trane.com.
So every single year they come up with other ingenious ways in which they can tell us in the public the best opportunity and the percentage of a team making the NCAA basketball tournament. We talk a lot about it during the college football season with an FPI, who's got the best odds of making the college football playoff and et cetera. Well, so now Joe Lenardi is doing the following. So according to him, these are the NCAA locks from the SEC. Like if these teams just fell off the face of the earth and did not win another game, these teams are still in the tournament. Auburn, Bama, Florida, Tennessee, A&M, and Kentucky. Worst case scenario, those teams I just mentioned, they're in the tournament.
They can lose every game and still be fine.
They're in. Now, here are the teams that have an 85% chance of making the tournament. Ole Miss, Mizzou, Mississippi State.
Okay.
85% chance of those teams making it. So with that being said, that is 9 teams in the SEC has an 85% or better chance of making the NCAA tournament. I remember covering this when the SEC was fortunate to get 3 to 4 teams.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad the conference was overall. That's how much it's changed. According to Lenardi, the rest, which would be below the 85%, Oklahoma, Texas, Vandy, Georgia, and Arkansas. And so the only 2 that would not have a shot at making the NCAA tournament, no matter what, again, unless they win the SEC tournament in Nashville, is LSU in South Carolina. Do you believe that 85% for Mississippi State? That one surprised me.
Yeah, I believe it. I think it's more of an indicator, not only with the net rankings and the SEC, they're strong, but the rest of the country. Do you not think so?
Well, I'm sitting here looking at the rest. I mean, to me, Vandy is trending in a better direction than Mississippi State is.
Yes, Mississippi State has started to slide a little bit, but I do believe that they'll win enough games where they're in. Now, they could potentially be a 9 seed.
Yeah, and I get the 85% because, again, yes, it is possible that they will lose every game the rest of the way and get knocked out. But for those teams, I look at it as, all right, you win one more game in the SEC and you're probably good to go. Even though, yes, it hasn't been the best couple of weeks for them. I think we all agree what we've seen from them in SEC play. They're worthy of a bid in the tournament, no doubt.
So just unless you've done this research, I have no idea what's going on above us.
Somebody's about to fall through the ceiling.
Well, number one, it's hotter than Hades in here. So apparently whatever they're doing on the roof, it's working. But yeah, I don't know. Can we open that door, Molly? I'm sorry. It's really hot.
I won't talk loud anymore.
Yeah, please just keep your private conversations private.
I just got so excited.
Was you talking to Don Don?
No, we had a caller. We had somebody that called in about the Carl Ravitch stat, and they said, what am I missing here? Every conference would have a 500
And you
record.
told him you're brilliant. You're not missing
You're
anything.
not missing
I said,
anything.
no, that's the whole point. He said, then I don't, like, how did he make that mistake? I'm like,
Sir, have you ever thought about doing play-by-play?
I don't know. My ESPN might have a spot for you.
So unless you look this stat up, just off the top of your head, what team in the SEC do you believe has the best against the spread record in the Southeastern Conference? Not conference games. I'm talking about the whole entire season, but you're a member of the Southeastern Conference. What team has they have a record of 17-7 against the spread.
That's pretty good.
That's outstanding.
17-7 against the spread. I will go.
I feel like this is a trick question.
I'll go Missouri.
I was gonna go Mizzou. It's my team.
Is that your answer?
Yeah.
I'll say Florida.
Florida is right.
Oh, good job.
17-7.
Chomp chomp.
Texas A&M is next at 13-8-3. So they've had 3 games where it was a push. Auburn is next at 14-9. So if you've wagered on Auburn every single time, you're in the plus because they're 5 games over. Tennessee's 15-10. Ole Miss is 14-10-1. Bama is 14-10. Vandy 14-10. Mizzou 14-10. Texas 13-11. Kentucky's 500. That's why a lot of those people are ticked off up there. It's the fact that they're betting on them and they're a 500 team. Georgia's 12-13. South Carolina 11-13. Oklahoma 11-13. How about this? LSU is 1-10 in the SEC, and they are 10-13-1. That's decent against the spread. Mississippi State is 10-14 against the spread, and Arkansas is the worst team in the Southeastern Conference when it comes to betting against the spread. They are 9-15. Another reason why people are ticked at Coach Cal. We're paying you all this money and you're not covering. That's a problem.
Yeah, good teams win, great teams cover. So I guess they're just a good team right now.
So why did you say Florida? Just because?
Well, I mean, just going through having watched every Alabama and Auburn game this year, I was like, I don't feel like it was going to be one of those two. And I just thought, I was
Did
like,
the
okay.
Alabama Auburn number surprise you with Auburn being 14-9 and Alabama 14-10?
No, that seemed about right. I figured they'd be a couple games over 500 against the spread, but I knew it was going to be somebody. I thought maybe it would be like a Kentucky or somebody like that, but no, I figured, okay, Florida's the third best team in the SEC. It's not Alabama or Auburn, so maybe it's Florida.
Yeah. So it was just interesting. Just doing a little research.
I think the one game that I played Florida this year, I took them plus the points at Tennessee on that Saturday game, and they got beat.
I do have. I'm going to ask you guys on the air later. There is something that I'm looking at tonight, and I want your honest opinion on it.
Is it table tennis?
Is it something you're wearing tomorrow for Valentine's?
Oh.
No.
Oh.
Thought you were going to dress up for Leanne. You were going to go superhero.
I'm a superhero every day. What are you talking about?
Okay, sure.
Landrum's still bitter about the whole TV thing.
I'm upset. You guys have put me in a dark place. I'm not going to be able to watch.
I didn't do it.
Yes, you did. You absolutely did it.
Listen,
You brought it up.
It was better for you to hear it from me.
How those fire ants on your shin?
It's better for you to hear it from me and Conrad than from you hearing it from somebody on the street.
You could have told me at 2:00.
Well, imagine that Pat didn't share that information with you, and here we are, fast forward a month, and you're so ready to go and lock in and watch your basketball on the first day of March Madness, and then boom, nothing.
I do appreciate my friends at YouTube TV because I did just check my email, and they did not send me anything about this. But they did point out that there's additional streaming options for the Braves, which I appreciate, but everybody watches the tournament.
It's just like I tell my kids, ignorance of the law is no excuse. And you, just because you
That's
claim
what my
you
high school
did-
principal said.
that you just did not get an email, does that mean that excuses you from not understanding or knowing what happened with YouTube?
We're just trying to help you out.
YouTube TV, not YouTube.
No, you can still watch us.
Well, right now.
Yeah.
Let the lawyers figure it out.
I was about to say, spirits were high when you walked in this morning.
Yeah,
Now they are just
I was having a great day.
down in the dumps.
Had a great opening conversation with Molly. Said hey to some people in the hall. And I feed off positive energy, and I come in here to this.
Just making sure you understand that
The more you know.
when you click on that and you're going, what's going on?
See, Molly's taking it in stride.
No, she's not.
Well, she's still mooching off her parents, so
Yeah.
it really doesn't affect her.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
She's going to go to
Yeah.
Huntsville to watch the tournament
With the cats.
Yeah.
with the cats and Shathid.
All right, more three-man front. Rodney Orr, top of the hour. This is Jocks 94.5. It's 10:52. Jocks 94.5. Rodney Orr from Tighter Insider will join us in a matter of moments. We'll talk to him. 9 Alabama players get invited to the combine. 3 Auburn players. Ohio State had the most invites at 15. I'm not falling into your trap. I'm not watching that.
Just keep watching, Pat.
No, I saw enough a minute ago.
Meow. What was that?
I don't know. Ohio State had 15 players invited. Texas and Georgia had 14. Oregon 12. Ole Miss, South Carolina had 11. Miami 10. Alabama and Florida had 9. Notre Dame, LSU, and Michigan had 8. Why are you shaking your head?
I remember the good old days when Alabama was up there in the double digits.
9.
It's embarrassing.
That's all right. You still have your memories.
It's just I do have the memories.
Your
Hold on
memory.
to those dear.
Your scrapbook.
That's what I've been doing in the off season.
You've been
is going back
scrapbooking?
through scrapbooking since 2009.
Why don't you make a Alabama football dream board for 2025?
Hey, we didn't mention this earlier when Molly was giving us the update. I asked Molly during the break if she saw Conrad's wife at the game last night watching
I was
Buckyball.
not going to bring that up.
Did you see Paige there?
No, Paige was not there. Unless she was.
She was out of there
wearing,
by
like, a fake
halftime.
mustache or something.
Was she with the coaches' wives?
Actually, you know what? I think I did see her.
I think they sent a suite.
She saw they were going to lose, and she was like, "I can't be here for."
She came home
She doesn't
early.
like seeing him cry. So
For those that
I
are
love
just,
how Conrad's just embraced it.
it's funny.
I mean, obviously, for those that just now tuned in, if you're unaware of what we're talking about, Conrad let us in on a little secret a couple weeks ago. Unbeknownst to us, he tells us that his wife apparently, when she was at Birmingham Southern, is that correct?
No, so she was a kid when Bucky played. He played basketball at Birmingham Southern,
Right.
And so one of her cousins also attended Birmingham Southern.
Okay,
but she
I'm with
was,
you
I mean,
now.
she was like 7 or 8, and her family would always go to Birmingham Southern games. And her favorite player was Bucky, and she
Gotcha.
had a crush on him when she was, again, in elementary school. This wasn't
You
like
should have seen the look Molly just
Some
gave me.
crushes never die.
this was.
It would have made
I'm learning
it.
that now, Molly.
But you know what would have made it more awkward if she had said that she had a crush on a guy who played football who wore number 6.
That would have
Yeah.
been very unfortunate.
Awkward.
That would have been unfortunate.
Tune in weekday mornings for Conrad and friends, 6 to 7. Here on Jocks 94.5.
I really hope she's listening. She's off work today. So
Oh, is
I
she?
really hope she's listening.
Oh, yeah.
Why isn't she working? You were telling us the other day that you wish she worked more because, you wanted to buy some more stuff.
Well, she's got to pay for me to complete my collection of Alabama jerseys. I have 2 on Bray Hubbard, and so we've got 83 more to go. I could fill out a whole roster. Needed to work some overtime.
Well, the good news is our friend Bob Ibach's going to be on the show tomorrow, so maybe we can get you something.
maybe
Need her
so.
to pull an extra shift.
Yeah. Come on, Paige.
Step up.
I'm just kidding. I love you. You do wonderful things for our family.
You're out of kidneys.
I am out of kidneys. That's right. Those courtside seats didn't pay for themselves this Saturday.
I know we got Rodney coming up, but we will get to your text in the next hour. 205-834-9450 on the Jocks text line.
Yes, and Rob Pate will join us next hour as well. Christy Dosh is going to join us in the 12 o'clock hour. Tonight at 6 o'clock on the Bill Clark Show, a fascinating 30 minutes. We sat down with Bill Clark yesterday. We taped the program on Wednesday afternoon, and the whole program was about NIL and the stories and the issues and just where college football is going is just an incredible conversation with Bill Clark. And you don't want to miss that tonight at 6 o'clock right here on Jocks 94.5. And it will be streamed live on YouTube at the exact same time. So catch us on YouTube.
We ask questions that you want asked. And I'm not playing this up. We do. And I think Coach Clark has realized that he's stuck with us. And so he just make it less painless if he just answer the question.
Yeah,
and he
just
does.
endures us. Yeah.
But it really is. It's good stuff. Tune in tonight, 6 o'clock.
Then we just need to be able to record the post podcast audio.
Ooh.
That's when the fun really begins.
That will require a premium subscription because we'll probably need jobs after that.
Rodney Orr, Tighter Insider, he will join us next. This is the Thursday edition of 3-Man Front. It is 11 o'clock. Welcome back in. This is Three Man Front, Jocks 94.5. We will head to Tuscaloosa, Alabama momentarily. You know, water can find its way into your crawl space, and hopefully you did not realize that you had a big issue last night after these heavy storms we got, because that water in your home can bring dangerous mold, mildew, and wood rot. But APS can protect your home's foundation and provide valuable storage space too. The APS crawl space encapsulation system, it can stop water, keep pests out, lowering your energy costs as well. The engineers at APS, they can help you today design a custom solution for your home. 205-951-9717. Start protecting your home right now. 205-951-9717. That is APS. Go to alabamaprofessional.com.
We do have Rodney Orr of Tighter Insiders going to be joining us momentarily to talk about, well, a little bit about everything, but of course a big weekend coming up in Tuscaloosa at Coleman Coliseum on Saturday as the Auburn Tigers take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. And Rodney joins us now, as all of our guests do, on the Buyers Right Hotline. Happy Thursday, Rodney. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing great. How was your night last night in the tent outside of Coleman Coliseum camping out?
I wasn't there.
Describe. Yeah, go ahead.
No, somebody else asked me about that earlier this morning. That's why I'm laughing. But I laugh because, man, it's crazy. It's never been like this. I mean, this is really unprecedented. As I was telling Conrad, it's not really 1 versus 2. It's really 1 versus 1, right? I mean,
yeah.
They're both one in a poll. So, man, it's never been like this.
So I know we talk a lot about this during the football season because it seems like anybody that beats Alabama, they rush the field. Do you remember at any point in time, has Alabama ever charged the court at Coleman Coliseum after a win?
No, not that I remember. I know I remember what year was it when Petway hit the shot against Florida?
Yes.
That was probably as close as it came. I don't remember a storm in the court though.
Okay. Well, I was just curious if you remember that, because needless to say, I do not think Alabama football has ever rushed the field, if I'm not mistaken.
You know what? I was at the 1990 Alabama-Auburn game in Legion Field. You guys may remember that. It was really close then.
Okay.
I mean, people were jumping the fence, but they didn't quite, really get to it. And I guess technically, you could look back at it. I think some people rushed the field after the goal line stand in New Orleans
against Penn State in '79.
Against Penn State. Yep, a little bit.
Okay. All right. I was just curious because there's been a lot of big games at Coleman Coliseum, and I was just curious if I don't think Alabama would storm the court, but I don't know. Conrad, you're a former student. Would you have?
Conrad, is that a badge of honor? Is it like?
Don't do it.
Is that what it is? It's a pride thing?
Well, it screams we haven't been here before. So I don't like that.
Okay. I was just curious. I'm sure that will be a
Yes, okay. So now I'm being told that they definitely did storm it. Somebody texted me, it's listening.
Hey, thank you for listening.
Yeah. I said, hey, they did definitely storm the court, in that Florida game.
And the Petway game?
Yes, the Petway game, and then also McKee against Florida in '87 when he had the key tip in there in that game. So, apparently there's a little history there.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know if we'll have that repeated or not on Saturday if Alabama pulls off the win against Auburn. But since we're on the topic of the basketball program and what Nate Oates has been able to do, it's been pretty incredible. Tying Wimp Sanderson with a number of top 25 wins in just a short amount of time in Tuscaloosa. Just talk about how you've been around this program for a long time on the basketball side of things and just how much better things are since Nate Oates took over.
Well, I mean, again, so what he inherited was a program struggling to get back to, to the obviously C.M. Newton, Wimp Sanderson days, and obviously Mark Godfrey had a lot of success in periods as well. So, I mean, it was a program that people were just, the Alabama fans certainly were very, they had been down on for a while. I mean, it certainly was. He came in at the right time for him too, because it was an opportunity for him to kind of take a program that I won't say it was on the floor because I do think Avery Johnson did some good things. I mean, obviously got to the NCAA tournament, had some recruiting success, but Nate Oates has obviously taken this program to a level where it's never been. I mean, they go to the Final Four. Like I said, they're ranked number 1 or number 2 in these polls right now. They're a team that legitimately, and I'd say the same thing about Auburn. These are 2 teams that you could see either one of them certainly winning the national championship. So it's unprecedented heights.
Rodney Orr, Tighter Insider, joining us on Three Man Front and joining us on the Buyers Right Hotline. We're not trying to send Nate Oates anywhere. You understand that, Rodney. I'm saying that for the benefit of our listeners. But it is a story that is starting to appear. If Hubert Davis, the head coach at North Carolina, is run at the end of the season, that Nate Oates apparently would be high on the priority list of the boosters and the influential people there in Chapel Hill. Would that be a job just based on what you know about Nate Oates? I know that Kentucky he was a potential suitor for them, but Nate Oates decided he was going to stay at Alabama. Could you see that being a job that he listened to if he was approached about it?
Whether he listens or not, but again, I think most coaches would listen, to that. Now, with that said, I think his relationship with Greg Byrne, I'm talking about, there's a lot of trust there. I think Alabama has done everything that Nate Oates has basically wanted. I think they doubled his NIL a year or so ago. They're building the facility, the training facility that he wanted. They've done just about everything in that regard. So I really think, and I think there are probably some family considerations there. I think he has, at least one daughter that's still in middle school, somewhere in that area. And then I think he's got a daughter in college. So there are some family considerations that I think, would also play into that and what he wants to do in the immediate future. Would he listen? Maybe. But, I think ultimately right now the plan is for him to remain at Alabama for a while.
All right, so we just got the list a few minutes ago from the NFL in regards to the NFL Combine up in Indy. 9 Alabama players got the invite: Milroe, Booker, Dupree, Oots, Tim Smith, Q Robinson, Jahad Campbell, Malachi Moore, and James Burnip. I know you don't have the list in front of you, but the names that I just mentioned, was there anything that jumped out to you immediately of someone that you thought might have gotten an invite and did not?
Oh, I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say that there was one that off the top of my head.
Was there any that surprised you, like a Robbie Oots or James Burnip, somebody like that?
And nothing against Robbie Oots.
No, I understand.
I mean, he did a great job. But that's the one that kind of, out of the group, I would say that would be the one that probably got my attention. Great for him. I mean, he's a guy that can do a lot of things. I think there were some ways he in the last few years, he was utilized here. This year, you saw him get down the field, make some catches. But I think he's really valuable because of so many things that he can actually do. I mean, he's a guy that's really physical. He doesn't mind blocking for sure, but he's got good hands. I mean, he has better hands than what people know. You remember a couple of years ago, I think it's 2022. May have been 23. I can't remember. Well, it was 2022 when they played Auburn here. He had a really big game.
Yes.
I mean, as a receiver out of the backfield. So, no, I think he can do some things. I'm really glad that he got this opportunity.
Rodney, a lot of coaches across the country, well, some coaches, but the assumption is that a lot of coaches share this sentiment, and it's to do away with the spring game, the A-Day game in the case of Alabama there in Tuscaloosa, and go with more of the NFL style of OTAs. What is your opinion on the spring game, maybe the value, the important significance this day and age, and what is the potential that Alabama follows suit and decides that they're going to do away with their A-Day?
Well, first of all, I would say, looking at the spring and the A-Day game and what have you, spring games in general, I think they've been really in the past, especially since 2007. I mean, they've been really something big here. I know that. And not only here, but it's kind of spread nationally. The fans showing up for spring games, the interest, the passion, all of those things, I think have certainly been helpful to the programs in a lot of different ways, especially in recruiting, because that's a big event for you to bring in top players and prospects and all of those things and, kind of expose your program almost like a game day experience, So I think that's been really valuable, but at the same time, I do understand exactly what Matt Rule, has come out and said about being poached. You can watch these spring games. I actually thought kind of last year, I said, you can watch these games and pick out a guy or two and say, hey, maybe we could, influence him to transfer or whatever. But so I certainly understand that. You know what? I think it's probably headed in that direction.
So earlier this week, we got official word. I know that it leaked out late last week that Ryan Grubb is back as the OC at the University of Alabama. I know there's already been a lot of people on your message boards. They feel very, very good about Grubb coming back to Tuscaloosa. He was here a year ago for about a month before he went off to the NFL, and now he's back in Tuscaloosa. Do you think that's too much pressure being levied upon his shoulders as he comes in like he's trying to right the ship here about this Alabama offense, or you think it's worth the accolades because he's that good?
Well, I think he has really got a great proven track record. I mean, obviously what he did, and we've gone over some of those things, the success that he had at Washington and previous to that, and just the familiarity he has with, Kalen DeBoer. I think the one thing, Pat and Landrum, that kind of to me is is kind of how people have taken this in view of Nick Sheridan. Again, people say, well, it's a demotion, and it is, technically of sorts. But I think anytime you have a chance to upgrade your staff and bring in a guy of Grubb's magnitude, I mean, you have to do it, in just my opinion. And I think when you look at his track record, you understand why people are really excited about the future with him and what they can do offensively. But it is tough in that first year. They inherited players that they really weren't familiar with. Some didn't fit their style. And now they're probably moving closer to having the kind of players that they need for this system. So, again, I think that Ryan Grubb is obviously a really big addition. And as far as the pressure on him, who knows? I mean, I guess that's just part of it, and I'm sure they're really accustomed to that.
Ronnie, I'm going to put you on the spot here. We did our way too early top 25 for the 2025 college football season. Where would you have Alabama? Would they be inside the top 10 or outside of the top 10 heading into the season?
That's a good question.
It's a loaded question. He's trying to get you all over your message board.
I prefaced it with, I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
That's why I took a step back.
Yeah.
No, I mean, again, I think that this team, when you look at them defensively, got a lot of players coming back. I think they've got a chance when you look at some of the defensive linemen that they've got coming back, that they convinced to come back. I thought Tim Keenan was really big, in his decision. You added Kelby Collins. I think when you look at the linebackers with Jefferson back now, with Deontay coming back, and with you've landed the kid from Colorado, Nakai Hill-Green. I think that's really big. The experience you have at corner now with Damani Jackson and Xavier Brown. Sab's coming back. Bray Hubbard got a lot of great experience last year. I think defensively they've got a chance to be much improved. You got a year in the system under Womack. You feel better about each other, I think, just because of familiarity. Then on the flip side of that, I think they've got a lot of good things to work with on the offensive line. You got Brailsford at center. Caden Proctor will be back, even though he's not expected to participate this spring, I don't think. You got Jaden Roberts back. He's got a lot of experience. I think they feel really good about the development of Wilkin Formby at right tackle. You've got some really good receivers, obviously, in Brian Williams and Jeremy Bernard. And you've got Isaiah Horton coming in. And you've got a good running back group. So I think at quarterback, that's going to be an interesting thing this spring. Ty goes in my opinion, a solid number one with Austin Mack and the freshman Keelan Russell. So I think there should be reason for optimism. I didn't mention tight end. I think Josh Clavis is going to be a guy to really watch this year. So with all that said, I could see a reason for a lot of optimism. Would I put them in the top 10? Yeah, I would probably do that. Even though, that schedule is going to be really challenging.
It certainly is. That is Rodney Orr. You can follow him at Tighter Insider. Outstanding website. Message boards are always fun and entertaining. Rodney, have a great weekend, and hopefully it won't be too active for you during Saturday's game.
Stay off the court, Rodney.
Yes.
I will do that. I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks. That is Rodney Orr joining us on the Buyers Ride hotline for all your insurance, financial, and HR needs. It's Buyers Ride Insurance, a Higginbotham partner.
We will get to your text here on 3-Man Front, 205-834-9450. A lot going on. We got Rob Pate coming up at 11:45 to preview the big game coming up this weekend. Other things. 3-Man Front on a Thursday on Jocks 94.5. Ooh, college basketball this afternoon, 4 o'clock. Conrad, his second favorite team outside of the Edmonton Institute. He's got Monmouth taking on Stony Brook. 4 o'clock, CBS Sports Network.
The 5 o'clock game we're going to talk about a little bit later. That's the one that I have.
New Jersey Institute of Technology?
That is correct.
You love you some Injit.
I enjoy me some Highlander basketball.
I like that Injit.
It's Injit.
That's funny. Well, as we approach the lunch hour here on 3-Man Front, you need to start thinking about where you're going for lunch today, and there's no better place for you to go then visiting our friends at Big Whiskey's, because that's a great place for food of all varieties. They have a full menu ranging from appetizers to salads, burgers, and steaks. They got chicken fingers, wings, everything you could want. They're going to have it all for you there at Big Whiskey's. And if you need a place to go while you're watching the SEC Hoop Slate this weekend, they also have a full-service kitchen and plenty of screens to go along with all of that delicious food. So they're going to have all of that covered for you at Big Whiskey's. Their bar also features unique cocktails, including over 120 whiskeys, including whiskeys on tap. And again, plenty of those screens to watch all the SEC action you want. Go visit our friends at Big Whiskey's. They're located in Stadium Trace Village off of Highway 150 near the Hoover Met.
So we mentioned a few moments ago, 9 Alabama players were invited to the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. 4 Auburn players, wide receiver Keandre Lambert-Smith, running back Jarquez Hunter, linebacker Eugene Asante, and edge rusher Jalen McLeod. So 4 Auburn players, 9 Alabama players invited. Ohio State had the most with 15.
We take you to the Jocks text line, and as we do so, 205-834-9450, you can always interact with the show. Pat gave us the bad news earlier and put a damper on the day by letting us know that YouTube TV and Paramount or whoever, they cannot come to an agreement, so you cannot watch the Masters, the NCAA tournament. Really, Pat just summed it up to anything that you enjoy if you have YouTube TV.
Well, not only that, the CBS Sports Network, Comedy Central, MTV, Nickelodeon. I know you're a big Nickelodeon fan.
What will I do without that?
Yes.
Let's also clarify, it's put a damper on your mood, not our mood.
No,
Pat
I'm
and I
fine.
Pat and I
I'm
are
completely
great.
fine.
Yeah, we're great.
I love his optimism. He's like, "Oh, this will be settled before then." I said, "Oh yeah, me and Conrad thought
We thought the same thing.
the number one sports product in North America is the NFL, and it took us a month before
We've got a little over 2.5 hours left of this show. I can make it miserable for everybody. I will wear it on my shoulder.
I would like to see that.
No, you wouldn't.
Well, apparently Nick Kelly has YouTube TV because he's gone to Twitter asking
Nick,
for
me, you,
recommendations.
and Molly will get this figured out. We'll get it figured out.
We'll hook you up with our streamer from Paraguay. You'll be fine.
We'll go to Rambler Sports Bar and Grill. Watch it on 283-inch projector screen. How about that, kids?
Okay, have fun with that. I'll watch it at home. On DirecTV.
Prefer you join us if we do that.
Well, I don't need to because I'll be
Wow.
able, I'll be
Why
able
does
to
he
watch
need
it
to?
at home.
Watch it at home on DirecTV.
Support our partners.
Yeah, but then I'm kind of throwing away money when you think
Yeah.
about it because I'm paying for DirecTV, and then if I don't use it,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
kind of money down the drain, Landrum.
That's the wrong answer there, too. All right. You were 0 for 2. Where is Conrad's Conundrum segment? That will debut in late June.
Can't have pondering and conundruming in the same show. It's too much.
Sam, with some helpful advice, you can get the Paramount Plus app. It's pretty awesome. I had the Paramount Plus app. I think I still do. I don't pay for it, though. No, I would have to reactivate it. But it took forever on my smart TV to open. It was like
the app did?
the wheel of death for 3. I don't have that patience. That's something I'm praying for.
What's on? Is that where Yellowstone is or something?
Yeah, Yellowstone was there.
Okay.
You also had there was a show that I really enjoyed. Golly, the guy plays what was it called? It's a show about a prison.
Prison Break.
No, it's
I'm
not
just
Prison
kidding. I
Break.
don't know.
Hey, so did you get a $10 price increase on YouTube TV?
Yeah.
Well,
now they're taking away channels?
Well, the good news, it's only a $2 increase because they're getting the $8 back, right, Pat?
Oh, that's correct. Yeah,
So
you're
it's
getting
only
that
$2.
credit. So they raised it by $10? For what? Did you get more channels?
Pat, what if I told you
trying
the
to
price went up
understand
and they
this.
took away channels?
Yeah. So you're paying $10 more. Now they're taking away channels.
I don't know. Since the start of 2025, I've watched games, but not a whole lot of anything else on YouTube TV.
Paramount has released a statement. YouTube TV is attempting to pressure Paramount to agree to a one-sided term, and these non-market demands may lead to an avoidable loss.
That sounds like they're not going to have this thing fixed for at least 6 months.
This is probably going to take it into the NFL
Just
season.
pay the tariff. This one coming in from one of our great listeners in North Carolina. Thanks for listening on the app and watching us on YouTube TV. Or YouTube. Not YouTube TV. Landrum, Valentine's Day is a bogus holiday. It's a mulligan for guys to do what they don't do all year, and for women to hold guys accountable. Also, a corporate mandate for cards, candy, and dinner. Prove me wrong. Look, I'm all about saying that it's a bogus holiday. But if my wife believes in the holiday,
I was about to say, that's
Landrum
the thing.
will support her in her belief of that holiday, because
Then Landrum
that
life
is
is better.
look, let me just they might be listening.
No, but I look at it like maybe it doesn't mean as much.
Women expect certain things on Valentine's Day. And I think that women know that there are certain things that they could do for their husband on Valentine's Day that would make them feel special. Good way to put it, Pat.
You're doing it is because you love your wife, not because you yourself think this is the best holiday in the world. You're doing it because you love your spouse and you want to show them that, even if a lot of what he said is fair.
And I'm not a procrastinator, but I can tell you in the last 20 minutes, I've learned so much about silk pajamas. Conrad, do you want in on this?
I'm good.
Okay.
I've got my situation taken care of.
What's he getting her?
See, I was going to say I got her Sanford season tickets, and then you beat me to the punch.
Sam embroidered silk pajamas.
That's right.
Someone texting in, wait, does that mean no TBS or TNT? That's exactly what that means. Jason Alina says, I'm like Landrum. I have YouTube TV. Just add Fubo during the Braves season. So excited to save the $70 just by adding FanDuel instead of Fubo.
You can also watch it free of charge on Fox 6 in Birmingham.
Here's the thing, Jason Alina, and I don't know just by your text, if you do this, you can pause your subscription to both of those services, and that's what I do.
That's a scam.
But I was excited because here's the thing about the Fubo TV is they make it really, really difficult to cancel.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because you go to the website and then it's kind of like a vicious cycle.
Oh yeah, are
Keep
you
sending
sure
you back
you
to
want to
the-
cancel? Are
Well,
you
no,
sure?
not even that. There's a way to do it, but in your search browser, unless you clear out your entire history, it keeps sending you back to a certain page where you can't access the I want to cancel my subscription.
Oh, that's the excuse you use for deleting your browser history. That works.
Stop it.
Oh, by the way, if you're looking for something for your wife for Valentine's Day, you can go right down here to 18 South in Homewood.
We're definitely going in there Saturday. So maybe a follow-up.
Wait, so did you ever figure out the dinner situation?
Yes. Buddy Taylor at Soho Standard.
Okay, very nice.
He
Why are
called
you
me
waiting
ye-
until the last minute?
He called me yesterday afternoon.
Did you not know Valentine's Day was February 14th every year?
I'm sorry, Landrum. It's been a hard day for you.
I knew.
It's not like a rotation. It's not like Easter. Like it falls on a different day every year.
Got some other stuff going on.
Apparently.
What are you going to do special?
That is a private
Exactly.
conversation.
Exactly.
Pat's going, oh man, yeah, this is my chance. I need to go see if I can get a reservation too.
Leanne, I'm ordered a pizza. We're going to watch Patriot League basketball. I'm going to teach you all about parlays and teasers.
Like she doesn't already know.
I know, right?
She's as fired up for the New Jersey Institute of Technology as you are tonight.
Taking on Bryant University, 5:00 tip,
Where can you watch that one?
ESPN Plus.
Okay.
This text coming in, Major League Baseball. As a Cards fan, glad Bregman didn't sign with the Cubs. Looks like Arenado may be to the Yankees now. I think Barrett is joining the Braves. Barrett Slee, he is pre- and post-game show host. If so, whose place is he taking? That would be our buddy Kevin McAlpin. Thank you for the text.
Depends on how much the Cardinals want to pay the Yankees to take Arenado off their hands.
And
Bregman went what? Red Sox?
$40 million a year.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I will let the Red Sox have that one.
And he's got what, 2 opt-outs? I mean,
Yes.
he literally like
I mean, it's essentially like a 1 year. He can opt out after
Yeah.
every season, I believe. But I mean, just think about it. He is making the same amount of money as Aaron Judge. That's crazy.
Jimmy says bootlegs. Streaming has become more expensive than cable. It's absolutely ridiculous. I used to watch the Cubs on WGN in Montgomery as a kid, but now I need 15 subscriptions? Take that, Wall Street. Oh. Try Fubo TV. They also carry Braves games. Yep, I've been doing that. FanDuel is also a streaming option. And then Gray Television, Fox is going to carry 15 Braves games this year as well.
Okay, this is kind of random, but when y'all were growing up, did y'all ever have a situation where somebody in your neighborhood, because back in the old days, couldn't you like steal cable from your neighbors?
Yeah, you could. It was kind of a descrambler box.
Yeah.
that
Okay.
basically you could put it on your television, and you literally, because the station would supposedly be blacked out like HBO or Cinemax or whatever, and you could buy one of these descramblers and put it on top of your house,
Pat-
on top of your TV.
I'll share this because he shared it on the air before, and it was a long time ago, so he couldn't be prosecuted for it. But he got a card one time where he
Yes.
could watch everything. Everything.
Everything on my DirecTV. I knew someone that knew somebody, and that they could program a DirecTV card that goes into your receiver, and it would open up everything. And when I say everything, and I got every local channel. Like I could watch Seattle, Anchorage News, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever was on the bird, I had access to.
Did you still have to pay for like the basic cable
No, I mean, I
package?
had my package.
Oh, okay.
And then
Is that when Leanne told you to take the card back wherever you got it?
absolutely. That thing did not last in my house for about 15 minutes.
Oh, really?
Well,
Well, I mean, yeah, it's illegal, but
no, you can imagine.
Yeah, that's just what
okay.
you want with two young kids in the house.
Okay,
That's
yep,
really
you're
smart.
Right, you're right. Yep, I got you.
Dad, what's this? Well, we were going to have this conversation for another 7 years, but
Yep, okay. I see where the problem came from. Yep.
Waco, Texas. Just no context there. Waco, Texas.
Home of
Oh,
La
that's-
Casita.
Mi casita.
Mi Casita.
Okay.
And back in the day, the Branch Davidians.
All right, more of your text. Your calls are welcome.
You remember Conrad.
We will talk to Rob Pate coming up at 11:45. This is Jocks 94.5. 11:35, Jocks 94.5. We're 10 minutes away from talking to Rob Pate, former Auburn DB. We'll talk to him about the big game coming up in Tuscaloosa on Saturday between the Tide and the Tigers, and you can hear that right here on Jocks 94.5.
Go talk to our friends at Dobbs Ford on Parkway East in Birmingham, the Goshen's. Joey and Rachel, they do an outstanding job, the entire staff there. And the thing that separates Dobbs Ford from other dealerships around the country is just the genuineness and the great people and the customer service you're going to receive. You're going to get top dollar for your trade. No hassle, full transparency during the entire process. They'll beat any competitor's price. Shop Alabama's largest showroom selection today. Go to DobbsFordBirmingham.com. That's DobbsFordBirmingham.com. You can check out the F-150s. They have the Dobbs Edition F-150s. Also the Mustangs, the Broncos Sports, the Black Diamond Editions, Escapes, Explorers. Check it out. Also a pre-owned inventory for you to peruse as well. It is DobbsFordBirmingham.com, Parkway East in Birmingham. Tell Joey Goshen that Landrum from Jocks 94.5 sent you.
So, Conrad, did you see the story this morning about apparently there is going to be a competition video game to EA Sports College Football, and that supposedly they have already signed 450 players.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama, Illinois, Georgia, Texas Tech, Wisconsin, and Oregon are part of the initial signings.
Alabama, you've got an outdated game in your team. Mm-hmm.
You're looking for the little victories now since we've been so hard on you.
Yeah,
today.
where are you going to go play the game?
I would imagine I'll be able to play it on the exact same place that I play the one I currently
Oh, so you're
have.
going to buy the game?
No, I'm not going to buy this copycat, whatever.
It says Crimson Tide and Illinois players because, you know, Illinois is so talented.
Well, Brett was at the forefront of getting his players hooked up with that.
The Crimson Tide and Illinois players on Monday were the first to strike the agreements during an informational event attended by players, administrators at each school, and coaches. Several schools and players confirmed the meetings in statements to Yahoo, including Alabama receiver Ryan Williams.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
As part of the agreement, each player is receiving $1,500 in an upfront payment. Royalty pay is also expected, but that structure is yet to be determined.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that's just seems kind of bizarre that you would come out with a competing. I mean, I guess it did make a lot of money. I know it was one of the best-selling video games in the country last year was the NCAA football game. So, I mean, I guess people are trying to cash in on that, but
Well, and let me say this. It could be not only this may be a group that is going to represent these players.
oh, okay.
And then it could be a collective bargaining type deal.
Gotcha.
That makes sense. It says hundreds of college football players have signed group licensing agreements for their likeness to be used on video games in what is expected to be the single largest commercial deal in the industry's history, eclipsing $20 million.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, and it says each player that signs up gets a $1,500 upfront payment for allowing them to use their name, image, and likeness.
Who do you want the broadcast? Who do you want doing play-by-play, Gus?
Yes. If there's a competing video game, it's Gus.
Yeah, it would be him and Klatt, I would think.
Okay.
I think it should be Gus and Gary Danielson.
Play
No,
that one.
I
What
tell
about
you-
Ravi? He does football, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, I've got a great idea of who could do the game.
Kevin Harlan.
205-834-9450 on the text line.
I feel like we're waiting on something.
Let's see here. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with this computer settings. Landrum, never pray for patience. God will give you plenty of opportunities to practice it. Be careful. Okay. Good point, Brian. Thank you very much. Ingit plus 16.5. Pat, not familiar with them. New Jersey Institute of Technology tonight. Big play for Pat Smith.
No.
Huge.
No, I didn't say that.
What is Ingit? Are they in the Northeastern Conference?
They're the American East,
American East.
not to be confused with the American West
What? Oh. Or the American.
or the American North or the American South, the American East.
Hello.
Is this who you want to call the new NCAA football game?
I think
It's all eyes on the referee. We could be seconds away from the greatest victory in Croke Park in 23 years for Galway. All eyes on Sean Herson. Galway 17 points. Dublin 16. Scan has his head in his hands. The referee looks at his watch. He blows the whistle. Galway have won. It's the greatest day that Galway football has seen in over 2 decades. And every man, woman and child stands to applaud Pádraig Joyce and his gallant Galway men. Sweet Mother of Jesus, they have pulled off the unthinkable. Forget about Taylor Swift. Shake it off in the Aviva and come over here to Croke Park because you're witnessing the West awake. Galyav Abu!
Galyav Abu!
Put him on the video game right now.
We need that.
Paint my face and give me a shield. Let's go.
Pay him the $1,500. Let him do it.
I love that Conrad's going to have to buy another game now.
Well, maybe not.
No, I'm going to stick with the tried and true EA Sports.
No Ryan Williams?
I'm sure they'll work out a deal. He can be in both of them because they'll want him on the cover with Arch Manning and Jeremiah Smith.
With his fingernail polish.
He's getting paid a lot to paint those fingernails now.
He is. Good for him.
How much would it take for you to do yours?
If somebody pays me, I'll, no problem.
I have some nail polish I can bring.
Will
Why
you
does
pay
it-
me?
No.
Oh, well, if you're not going to pay me, no.
I just asked how much.
I'm pretty cheap.
I was about to say, for what, like a day? A week?
Just say for a month.
I paint my nails every day for a month for $500.
$500.
I thought you were going to tell Landry, but you would do it and you would pay him if you'd just bring the nail polish.
Only if it's my shade.
What is your shade?
I don't know. What would
Doo-doo
my shade
brown?
be, Molly?
Crimson.
There you go.
There we
I
go.
went doo-doo brown.
Oh.
That's for my toenails.
Oh. There it is.
I didn't think you needed to put anything on your toenails.
Probably wouldn't last very long.
No.
Nasty boy. Bet Bucky doesn't do that.
No, he doesn't. That's one of the things that separates us. Unfortunately. It's just been really hard for me these last couple of weeks. That's why I finally feel safe opening up here, because I know there's people that care about me, and it's been hard at home. Valentine's Day just
Oh,
stirs up a lot of
you have Pharaoh.
memories. Yeah. Well, he likes Bucky a lot too.
How was Bucky after the loss last night? How was Bucky after the loss?
He was pretty sad.
Sad
get to
as in
talk to him.
crying?
No, he wasn't crying.
What excuse did he make?
I didn't talk to him after the game.
I'm just curious.
He was looking for
She did the game.
I know.
But I mean, it's
What
like,
excuse? Maybe he didn't give an excuse. Maybe he said, we played like Conrad's feet.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I wasn't there. She
No, I know,
was.
it was just
What
the way-
lame excuse did he give?
I mean, did he say we missed 23 pointers? Did we say we turned the ball over 17
No,
times?
it was funny
Like,
the way you said it.
what was the conversation? I wasn't there.
Yeah, Molly. What was the conversation?
I don't know. I was talking to Paige at that point.
Makes sense. Rob Pate joins us next on Three Man Front. Joining us now on the Buyers Ride Hotline here on Three Man Front each and every week. We're so happy to be joined by Rob Pate, former Auburn DB, joins us now on this Thursday. Hope you're doing well, Dr. Pate.
As well.
Oh, doing very well. Rob, this needless to say, covering basketball in this state for a long time, and I know you've been a consumer of the game for a long time. This game in Tuscaloosa this weekend, it is pretty special to have number one and number two battle it out there in Coleman Coliseum.
Yeah, I think it's just a testament to both programs just kind of getting their crap together and deciding that they wanted to compete at the highest level. And for Auburn, that meant hiring Bruce Pearl. That meant, a new arena. That meant going out and trying to recruit the best players that they could get to come into this program. And then I think for Alabama, it took Auburn finding success. Alabama's always had, a good basketball program. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're the second most winningest program in the SEC. But I don't think they really desired, as a fan base and as an institution, as much success as they're enjoying now until they saw Auburn get it a couple years ago under Bruce Pearl. So I think that, like just about every other sport, one team's success is the impetus for the other one to chase them down. And that's become Auburn at number one and Alabama at number two. And I think that's great for the state.
Rob, based on the game last Saturday at Neville Arena, when Florida came in and kind of had their way for 40 minutes, most of that game anyways, what was your takeaway? Was it more about Florida? Were there red flags raised with Auburn? Now that we've hit the backstretch of this conference schedule, are there red flags for you as opposed to what you thought this team was maybe early in the conference schedule, the midway mark?
No, I don't think there's red flags. I think that, Auburn, first, Florida's really good. I mean, first you just have to give it to them. And,
Sure.
and I think there's a lot of familiarity with Florida's coaching staff, with what Auburn does and kind of what they want to do. So you got to tip your hat to them and how they prepared for Auburn. I think Auburn was kind of needing a punch in the mouth. I kind of thought that the way Auburn was playing that they would lose at Ole Miss, but they just kept making shots. And, Ole Miss was really physical and really played a great game that day. But Auburn just elevated their offense to a point that they walked out of there a winner. I'm kind of the belief that all of these teams at some point need to drop a game or two to remember what it feels like and to sort of get recalibrated and remember the things that it took to get you to be successful. And for Auburn, I think that's being healthy. I think that's being able to stay out of foul trouble and then making big shots. They always have to play that aggressive defensive style. That gets them into trouble sometimes. And I thought that Florida really, the presence of their big men were just I think they're the best combination of bigs that Auburn has seen this year, and we struggled some there.
It's amazing. As of last night, Rob, according to Joe Lunardi from ESPN, 14 of the 16 SEC teams, as of this moment, if the tournament started tomorrow, they would be invited to the big dance. Is that not the most incredible thing you have ever heard or thought would happen to this conference?
Yeah, it really is. And that's something that my sons and I were talking about was the SEC basketball tournament coming up and how brutal that has the potential of being. I mean, it legitimately, everyone in the league could walk out of there a winner. And I don't know that many people would be surprised that any participant could walk away with the trophy. So that's enormous. I just feel like that SEC basketball has always had the best athleticism. You can always tell that guys, just were freaks that could jump out of the gym. They just needed somebody to come in and institute some basketball knowledge and learn to play the game in a way that it was being played in other places, but match that intensity and match that athleticism with good basketball IQ. And I think that most all these programs now have reached out and got coaching staffs that have been able to meld that together. And it's an institutional thing. Everybody has to be on board. And I think most have adopted that. And nobody wants to be left out. That's an exciting sports time for the country when March comes around and you've got your team still in it. So, it's going to be fun. You know, there's obviously going to be teams that go on runs that nobody expected. And there's going to be teams that are big letdowns, and I think both of the programs in this state, but particularly here in Auburn, after coming off of a loss to Yale in the tournament last year, they got to get back to remembering what that felt like. And anytime you get kicked in the teeth like Florida did, I think it's a great reminder of just where you want to go.
Rob, transitioning to football, Hugh Freeze, he was outspoken. He said he would be in favor of adopting maybe the NFL model of OTAs in the place of a spring game. What are your thoughts on doing away with A-Day or the typical format that we've gotten for so many years?
I don't have a problem with getting rid of A-Day as long as there's an opportunity for people to come in and spend time on campus and watch practice and watch what it is that they're going to do. I mean, so many people have been pushed away from an opportunity to see major college athletics. I mean, even in town, I live here in Auburn. I can't get to a basketball game because I can't buy season tickets years in advance because I've got 5 kids that have busy schedules. And you know, if you're just not somebody that's retired and can do that, then it's hard to get by and see it. And, you know, tailgating has changed. Just the whole dynamic of getting into a facility to watch the teams that you root for is different. So I wouldn't get away from the opportunities of people to have an experience like that with their families. But as a player, yeah, I think that it would be 8 days a waste of time, and it really gives you no valuable information. I would love for those guys to be able to scrimmage other teams, local teams, or even teams that maybe you would not be a traditional opponent that you would play. But just kind of see where you're at and make it a little bit more meaningful and have something, juices flowing so that it's fun to get out there and participate in it. But we'll see. I don't mind it either way, but in my mind, that's one of the least concerning things in all of college football is what are we going to do with spring? I mean, it's more how to maintain our rosters. How do we compete? We're now exempting guys, it looks like, from income tax that play football, but nobody else in the state, which is absolutely asinine. But that's just where we're at in, trying to get players.
How's business? Business good down there?
Business is good. Yeah. I mean, it's,
hey, I actually saw a TikTok. Was it last weekend or 2 weekends ago? It was last weekend. And people were lined up outside trying to get in. It was a big old line trying to get into your establishment. And I was really happy for you.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. It's been amazing. And the people have really enjoyed it and they've supported us well. So we're grateful for that.
We got a high school head football coach who you would know. I won't name him. He just texted me. He said, you need to start introducing Rob Pate as Sweet Frog. His yogurt place is really good. My family has spent half of my salary in there.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to guess that this guy is coaching down in South Alabama.
There he is.
Am I right?
You got it.
There he is.
Yeah, he's good people.
I saw him in there not long ago.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, take care of the frozen yogurt business
guys.
and all those people's eyes.
Hey, man. War Eagle to you guys. Good to see y'all. Y'all take care.
It is 12 noon on great radio stations like the up in Huntsville, Alabama. Jocks 94.5 here in central portions of the state. Jocks 740 down in the capital city. This is three-man front. Conrad, Molly, Landrum, I'm Pat. With you until 2 o'clock. We will lead you up to the Paul Feinbaum Show. A lot of basketball talk the first couple hours of the program. We also heard from Rodney Orr. You just heard from Rob Pate a few moments ago. Later this hour, we'll talk to Christy Dosh. She's the author of the Athletes NIL Playbook. So we will talk about the playbook situation, the NIL situation right now in college sports. One of the conversations we were having, Conrad, last hour had to do with this potential video game, management company. This is not a competition against EA Sports. This is a company that would literally represent the athletes on their behalf to potentially garner more money for them using name, image, and likeness.
Correct. So yeah, there's not going to be I guess 2K would be the team that would do that since they do other sports games. But yeah, so there's just going to be the one video game. But this is, I guess, essentially hearing about the dollar amount. The guys that sign up through this are getting a $1,500 upfront payment. We know last year for the NCAA video game, they were getting, I believe, $500. It was either $500 or $600, as well as a copy of the game was their payment. So yeah, it just seems like, okay, hey, y'all made a bunch of money off of this game last year. All right, well, we need to be compensated for that if we're going to continue doing this moving forward, and it's going to keep being popular. So I will not have to buy another game, much to Landrum's disappointment.
Yeah, apparently the guy who was behind this effort, his name is Casey Schwab, and it says he's out of Chicago, but he went to the University of Southern California, and he's a part of Pathway Sports and Entertainment.
And Ryan Williams, according to multiple stories this morning, says that he was one of the first players to sign up for this representation. Also, the NFL Combine, they sent out their invites. 9 Alabama players, Milroe, Booker, Dupree, Oots, Tim Smith, Q Robinson, Jahad Campbell, Malachi Moore, and punter James Burnap all got invites. Meanwhile, Auburn had 4 players invited: Keandre Lambert-Smith, Jarquez Hunter, Eugene Asante, and edge rusher Jalen McLeod. Ohio State had the most players invited, which was 15. Texas and Georgia had 14 apiece. Last night in the SEC, you had a big game over in Columbia, South Carolina. Ole Miss, they knock off South Carolina by 4. South Carolina now 0-11 in conference play. The Rebels 8-4. Mizzou takes out Oklahoma 82-58. The amazing stat, I said it earlier, that those two teams have played 213 times. Alabama and Auburn's only played 170 when it comes to basketball. So that rivalry runs really deep. It was the first time that they've played each other as members of the Southeastern Conference. They have been literally, I think, in 6 other conferences together. That's wild. That's the reason why they've played 213 times. And it was Arkansas and John Calipari, because they beat a 1-9 conference team. According to Joe Lunardi, Arkansas is now in the tournament, Landrum, which makes it up to 14 teams if the tournament started tomorrow, according to Joe Lunardi from the Southeastern Conference, would be dancing.
Yeah, the problem is Arkansas plays in the Southeastern Conference, and you might have a more favorable schedule, but when there are 14 teams currently slated, that means that there's a really good chance that you've got really good teams on the tail end of your schedule. So coming up tomorrow, you're at Texas A&M. That'll be fun. Coming up Wednesday, you're at Auburn. You host Missouri. Then you get little old Texas at the Bud on February 26th. You travel to South Carolina. That's a winnable game March 1st. That would be the game that South Carolina gets, right?
Yeah.
And then you finish at Vanderbilt March 4th. I think that's the finish, if that's the last game. Nope, you got one more. And then you host Mississippi State on March the 8th.
Meanwhile, every Alabama fan knows their schedule by heart, but you've got number 1 Auburn, and you've got number 21 Mizzou, number 15 Kentucky, number 22 Mississippi State, number 5 Tennessee, number 3 Florida, and then back to number 1 Auburn to wrap it up. I mean, that is murderer's row right there. That's tough.
Yeah, and that's why, at least regarding our poll question today, which was essentially who do you think is going to finish with the better conference or record in conference play, So I voted for Auburn because Auburn has a very difficult stretch as well. I think 5 of their last 7 games are against top 25 teams, but Alabama potentially all 7 of them against top 25.
All right, let's go through them, Conrad and Pat. Saturday's game, Alabama.
I got Alabama at home.
Yeah,
I'll take Alabama.
Yeah.
They host Arkansas. Auburn.
Oh, yeah, I like Auburn. Yeah.
Then they host Georgia.
Auburn.
They host Ole Miss.
Auburn,
because it's at Neville.
March 1st at Rupp Arena, Kentucky.
I'm going to say Kentucky will get them.
Okay.
I was about to say, they've been great against top 10 teams this year. Yeah.
What about at Texas A&M?
That could be a swing game, but I'd say Auburn wins.
I was about to say, I think the Kentucky and A&M
You gotta
split
flip-flop.
between those two. Yeah.
And then at home against Alabama.
Auburn.
Okay. So that would be, you'd be what?
2
15
losses.
And 3?
5 and 2.
Yeah,
down the
so you'd be
stretch?
15-3 overall.
Yeah.
Yes. And that was what Wimp told us at the beginning of the season. He thought 15-3 would
Every
win. So
single
maybe
year,
there's a tiebreaker there.
Wimp has been on the show with us even before it starts. He is so good at it. I mean, he will give us the number.
Oh, yeah, he knows. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty amazing.
There is a little bit of news coming from the South Side, UAB, and this being passed along as Trent Dilfer has tried to bolster his coaching staff. But very interesting. You've got 3 new additions in support roles, and they are Gordon Steele, Logan Tressel, and Carson Kapilovic. Is it Kapilovic? Is that how you pronounce it?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is that Chris Kapilovic?
Yes, that is his son.
Okay.
Logan Tressel is the son of Mike Tressel.
Not Jim.
And Gordon Steele's the son of Kevin Steele.
And Gordon Steele is the son of Kevin Steele.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Okay.
Gordon Steele, I'm not saying any of those other guys they don't have great reputations in the game, but I've heard many people talk about Gordon Steele, how good he is, and how he's got a very, very bright future in the college game.
The roster of coaches that he has added as assistants and coming from the NFL, it's been very impressive. Hopefully it translates to wins.
That would be good. So Michael Casagrande, friend of the program, he had a very interesting article this morning in which he attempts to rename the IBOB. So he took suggestions from people. Instead of calling it the Iron Bowl of basketball, I'm going to read you 10 of the ones that I personally believed have a shot to stick, because there was a lot of stupid ones. Okay. So I did a little bit of editorializing myself.
Wait, so did he didn't come up with all these? He
now,
took
this
suggestions
is from readers.
Okay.
And people like that. Okay. So we'll see. We'll get your input on this. Dixieland Duel.
Okay.
Possibly.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the use of Dixieland, but yeah, okay.
Red Dirt Rumble.
No.
The Battle for the Heart of Dixie.
I like that better than Dixieland Duel.
Okay.
That's the best one.
So far of the 3, you say that's got potential.
That's my favorite.
Okay. Barner Bammer Classic.
That's it.
Yes.
Barner
All right.
The Barner Bammer Classic.
The BBBB Classic.
The
That's
BBC.
right.
The Barner
Bammer
Basketball Classic.
There we go. Yeah, you can't do BBC, unfortunately.
Ironwood.
Huh?
I get like a play on the Iron City and Hardwood. Yeah.
Isn't that a restaurant?
Basket Brawl.
No, God, no.
That just encourages violence.
Iron Hoop.
No.
Oh, let's take iron out of it.
The Copperhead Classic.
Is that not already used?
I don't hate it, but people wouldn't get it.
All right. And the final one, the Ore War.
Well, we inviting PJ Fleck down here. Is he going to row the boat at halftime?
No, that would be
Ore.
Iron Ore.
Oh, I was
See,
thinking
but the fact that he didn't get it,
I get it now. Yeah,
I
I
don't
was
think
thinking
that
OAR.
I don't think that
He
works.
doesn't ride on Red Mountain Expressway. He doesn't. He doesn't see the Iron Ore.
I don't. Yeah, I like
So if you
Bammer Barner Classic.
the Barner Bammer Classic.
Barner Bammer Classic. I like it.
And then when they play at Auburn, it would be the Bammer Barner Classic.
Yes.
I like the duel in Dixie.
You like the Dixieland Duel.
Oh, a duel in Dixie.
That's better than Dixieland Duel.
Thank you.
Duel in Dixie.
The Battle of the Heart of Dixie.
Give me some time. I can maybe come up with another one. No, that's a good list. I kind of like IBOB because it annoys people.
You just like it because it annoys Cole Kubelik. That's why.
Just makes me want pancakes.
And then I like to take it where it's Alabama and Auburn and other sports, like the Iron Bowl of tennis, the IBOT.
Apple might have to.
IBOG.
Might have an infringement on that now if we're just going to do everything.
IBOG.
IBOG.
So are we going to just start calling it the Barner-Bammer Classic?
I like that.
Barner-Bammer Classic is good.
I think that's a winner.
Or what's the other? What's the Gumps and the, what is it? The Boogers? What?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Gumps and the Boogers? No. I don't remember that one being on the list.
So if you've got a
I like that.
suggestion,
Okay.
text us on the Courtesy GMC text line. What should we call the game? If you don't call it the Iron Bowl of basketball, what do we call it?
Well, let's get Molly's take. Molly, do you like for the IBOB, would you rather it be called the Duel in Dixie or the Barner Classic?
The Duel in Dixie.
You like that one?
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Steve says the Iron Court Challenge. Ooh, I see one. The Iron Ball.
Okay.
All right.
Be easy to make a trophy for those.
Plaid versus Plains. Thank you, Collins from Pell City.
That's a good one.
That's a
I like
really
that,
good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Ironwood Classic. That one came in. Yes, he really said BBC. What are you asking? Is that really said?
It's a channel,
Yes, it is.
not the other thing.
That's owned by the British government.
Yes.
Correct. Got listeners with mind in the gutter today, apparently.
Take you overseas now, and at Coleman Coliseum, the students are lining up. Big matchup.
Not as enthusiastic as the Gaelic broadcast would be.
No, I'm not going to disrespect that man.
So give us a text, 205-834-9450. Love to hear your suggestion for the game. All right, so I need your suggestions, okay? So I have highlighted a game tonight. I have not played it yet, but I am considering it. It's in the American East Conference tonight. That is a 5 o'clock tip-off.
Okay.
Now, 2 weeks ago, the New Jersey Institute of Technology, they lost to Bryant University by 22 points.
Is Peter Kiss still playing for Bryant?
I have no idea. I just look at numbers.
You remember Peter Kiss?
I do. So they lost at home
He is such
22 points to Bryant, the New Jersey Institute of Technology. The Highlanders are 5-20 on the season.
Okay.
They're 2-8 in their last 10 games. They have lost 14 straight on the road. So just remember those numbers, okay? Bryant is in first place in the American East. They have a 15-10 record. The Bulldogs are currently a 16.5 point favorite. Okay? Now, the New Jersey Institute of Technology, they're 13-11 against the spread.
Pretty good.
Okay? So they're
Way better than their actual record.
They're
yeah.
5-20, but they're 13-11 against the spread. The Highlanders are 8-6 as a road underdog this year against the spread. So they're above 500 against the spread, and they're above 500 overall in total games. Bryant, meanwhile, they're 10-13 against the spread on the season.
And you said it's a 16-point spread?
Yes. In the last three, I'm going to give you one other thing to consider here. In the last three meetings, Bryant has beaten the New Jersey Institute of Technology by an average of 18 points per game in the last three meetings.
And the closest game that they have had in their history, with the exception of the original matchup they had January 21st of 2009.
Was it a 2-point game?
Was a 1-point game.
1 point.
And that came back in 2023 in Newark.
I remember that.
Where I know you do. Bryant won that game 79-78.
So here's the question. The question is, if you would play one of those, would you take Bryant as the home favorite of 16.5, or would you take the underdog that is 5-20 on the season, but they're 13-11 against the spread, but they have a horrible history against playing Bryant?
What was their last two? What was NGIT's last two games leading into this one? The scores. Do you have that?
I do not. I just have what they played Bryant the last couple of games. So what's the suggestion?
I feel like if you're going down that path with that kind of a game, you got to take NJIT.
You think so?
Injit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Somali?
Yeah. Take them.
Ooh.
This could be your Detroit Mercy, Molly.
It could.
I don't know why you're not bringing this up. Why I'm the one that's bringing up a 5 o'clock tip off.
Last 2 games, they were at Maine, and they lost that one in a heartbreaker.
Oh.
78-74. At New Hampshire this past weekend, they lost that game by 11. I'm going to check out the box score. Do they shoot it well from deep?
I think you got to go with.
You go the underdog?
With Injit.
Well, Tariq Francis, number 1, he can knock him down from outside.
He's elite.
He is elite. He had 22 points. He was 4 of 7 from outside the arc, but nobody else helped him. They were 6 of 23. Yeah, this Injit is not good.
All right, so Conrad wants me to fire in on a 5-20 team, but they have a 13-11 against the spread record.
Their mascot wears a kilt.
Yeah, the Highlanders.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's perfect.
I mean, you got to.
Okay, and then Bryant.
The
by the way,
Bulldogs.
Peter Kiss is playing for Liga Nacional.
If I'm not mistaken,
Baloncesto.
Bryant is in Rhode Island.
It is. Very good, Pat.
Good. I would not have known that.
They played Birmingham Southern in baseball.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
I think it was for the championship
Wait, is that who they played this past year?
before they shut the school down.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Well,
Before-
last time that Bryant played in the friendly confines of the Chase Athletic Center in Smithfield, Rhode Island, they lost against the University of Albany. I'm like you. I like the Lancers plus the points.
The Lancers? Who's that?
The Highlanders?
Or the Highlanders.
The Lancers, that's Longwood, right?
I'm like going, what are we
Injit.
talking about another game? They're the Highlanders.
Highlanders.
Yes.
Yes, I like the Highlanders plus the points.
Well, that's the confidence I wanted
Yeah, I was
before I
about
go
to say.
firing in.
Now you feel great about this, Pat.
I like the Crimson in this one.
They take the Lancers. Take them.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm kind of
I
vacillating.
love championship
I'm going
week.
back and forth.
I'm ready for championship week. When we get these games that look like, as far as the crowd, you're watching a 10-year-old youth league game.
I mean, I can't wait for Pat and I to tell you about it every day after
Oh,
we
it's gonna
watch
be
it
fantastic.
on TV and you're
Can't either.
in the dark.
For those that missed it, if you have YouTube TV, you're in bad shape. No more CBS.
Nightly news.
No more 60 Minutes.
Mm-mm.
No more. What are the NCAA tournament channels? TBS, True TV,
TNT.
TNT, all that stuff's gone too.
No more Dharma and Greg.
Yep. They apparently have come to an impasse. But those that have DirecTV like me and Conrad, we're good.
Crystal clear.
Yep. I'll be viewing CBS tonight and CBS Sports Network and MTV and Nickelodeon, BET.
Mm-hmm. C-SPAN.
See if they have a rerun of the halftime show for you.
Yes. Very much so.
I'm listening to every game. Bring me some Ian Eagle or his son. What is his son's name? His son's in the business now.
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Yep. Talon.
That would have been a good name. Maybe that's his middle name.
Yeah. I think it's Noah Talon Eagle.
It's a good one. Be good.
Yeah. More three-man front. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, Christy Dosh is going to join us, talk a little NIL. That's next on Three-Man Front. We're getting some great suggestions. If you're going to rename the IBOB, the battle on the hardwood between Auburn and Alabama, what would you call it? Getting some great texts coming in on the Courtesy GMC text line. Also getting some suggestions because I asked the gang if I was interested, perhaps, to play this American East game tonight that tips off at 5 o'clock between the New Jersey Institute of Technology Highlanders against the Bryant University Bulldogs. It's a 16 and a half point spread for Bryant being the home favorite. Highlanders 5-20 on the season, but they're 13-11 against the spread. So we'll see. See what happens.
We got a lot of suggestions coming in on the text line 205-834-9450. And Michael says the Keep It Down Home Cuz Classic.
Oh, it's more like a, yeah, I see.
How about the Iron Bucket? It's not bad. TNT, Tide and Tigers. Iron Arena, Hardwood Dixieland Classic, Steel City Showdown, and played in Birmingham. Okay, not a bad idea.
I think the folks down at Neville Arena in Coleman would probably have a problem with that.
The Bama Barner Classic.
Yeah, we said that. That was one of the ones that we liked.
Not sure Auburn would agree to that. The Battle for Dixieland. House Divided Classic.
You can maybe do something with that.
The Conecuh Cup.
Oh, I had some Conecuh this morning. It's so good.
You didn't go to Chick-fil-A?
No, I did not, and I did not ask to if you wanted anything. I'm sorry, Pat. Pat was mad because yesterday I got a Chick-fil-A biscuit, and I apparently didn't ask him if he wanted anything. But I appreciate y'all for not hounding me about that.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. Realize you got stuff going on.
That's right. Well, it's tough at home right now.
You ever order just a regular chicken sandwich instead of the biscuit in the morning? They'll do it for you.
In the morning?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never done that before.
Yeah.
I'll have to try that. Their biscuits
Chick-fil-A,
are good,
you
though.
kidding? My pleasure. Huh. That's what they say, right?
Yeah, that's
right. Tonight's parlay, I'll send y'all. I'll take NGIT plus and by 2 points. I'll send the slip on later. All right, cool.
Is that Parlay Pete?
That is Parlay Pete.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever think they'll move to 6 fouls in college basketball? I don't think so.
Feels like that would have happened by now.
Well,
if they wanted to.
And fouling out. And it happens, but it doesn't happen that often.
No, it's not like every game you're down to your last 5 guys.
I did hear a coach that said, why don't you just start the foul total over at the beginning of each quarter? There's no foul outs, but maybe you lower the threshold of bonus if that continues.
So no one would ever foul out?
No one would ever foul out.
I don't like that. I like there to be consequences.
You like disqualifications.
That's right.
Pat, directed at you. I booked NGIT. This is all on you. I'm a big boy.
Oh, boy.
Thanks for sharing.
I did not endorse that. I was asking the group.
I hope you had a good reason. See what you've... Great.
Okay, so how did this game get on your radar?
Every morning I peruse.
He woke up and his heart was beating.
Okay, that's fair.
I was looking at potential investment opportunities throughout the day, and I noticed that there was a 5 o'clock tip-off.
It's that simple, huh?
It's that simple.
I just didn't know if you'd gotten, somebody
Like
was
a tip?
like, hey, you need to pay attention to what
No,
NJIT's doing. They're really going to
Then I started doing a little research, and I'm like, okay, well, this team is 5-20. Why isn't this like a 20-point spread? Then you start peeling the onion back, and you start, oh, well, they're 13-11 against the spread. That's interesting. Then you keep on digging. You find angles there, Conrad. That's what you do.
I respect it. I was just curious.
Last night was another good night. It's been a good week.
That's how we can afford the DirecTV bills.
I like that. Read that one. That's good.
So Kevin on Twitter says the K Ivy Cup.
The Meemaw Cup.
That's right. I like it.
The Meemaw Classic.
And Keller says the Yellowhammer Classic.
Okay, Yellowhammer, yeah. I do enjoy a good Yellowhammer.
Royal Payne says the Bama Barn game or the Wimp and Sonny Invitational.
That'd be good.
Okay.
Yep.
The Dixieland Delight comes in on the text line. The Yellowhammer Slammer.
That's good.
I think that's a shot.
I like that one.
I like that. What was the one we got? The Plaids versus Plains or something like that?
Mhm.
That one was really good, yeah.
I tell you, the Battle for Sweet Home Alabama. I've already read that one.
No. But now you have.
Okay. Cahaba Classic. And someone sending something in on Chick-fil-A. And these are all over the place. I love it. The Vets versus Lawyers. Thank you, Dave.
That's a good one. That's funny.
I remember one Iron Bowl shirt years ago. It gave the score, and it was like culture, whatever, agriculture, the other score.
That's good. That's funny.
Molly, JJ has a suggestion on Conrad's next failed food challenge.
Oh, yay.
Make him get acrylic nails, crimson with white tips.
That would be
no.
hilarious.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
That's
Are
good.
acrylic
Those
nails, are those the ones that like
They last for a month.
you?
Is that what you have?
Kind of.
I was about to say it's the ones that have the longer.
Right, yeah.
Oh, that would be.
This is dip.
That'd be
A little
awful.
different.
Can you take them off?
No.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
sounds awful.
Great.
sounds-
That would be great.
That
and, you,
sounds awful.
and you can't wear gloves in public.
That's
That's so good.
it's so awful.
All right, we will continue to read your
Never
text
look at you the
messages. Christy Dosh is going to join us next. We'll talk a little sports business and NIL with her next on Three Men Front. It's 12:32, Jocks 94.5. Pat Smith, Landrum Roberts with you until 2 o'clock, right before the Paul Feinbaum Show. Joining us now on the Buyers Right Hotline, Christy Dosh joining the program. You can see her work at Forbes, founder of the Business of College Sports, adjunct professor down at the University of Florida in Gainesville. She joins us here on Three Man Front to talk about this crazy world of college sports. Christy, I hope you're doing well on this Thursday afternoon.
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, Christy, let's start with the big old elephant in the room. It's something that we talk about all the time on this program because it changes on a constant basis, and that is the current state of NIL. Do you foresee in the immediate future, perhaps, that there will be guardrails in place so that these coaches won't be pulling out the rest of their hair?
Wouldn't that be nice? Unfortunately, I don't think that that's coming. I think NIL has sort of settled into mostly what it's going to look like going forward. And then we've got revenue sharing coming this fall. And, I think that will make the whole marketplace and the recruiting look a lot different in college football. But NIL, I think, is going to be sort of that extra on top of revenue sharing. And so whatever guys are sort of used to getting at this point, they're going to continue to get. It's just going to be split a little differently between revenue sharing and NIL.
Chrissy, when we look at, and we had Cam Scattaboo, the running back from Arizona State, and I made the comment when we were watching the college football playoffs that was one of the few student athletes, college football players that I've seen actually promoting a brand instead of just knowing that, somewhere he is getting a lot of money to play football and to represent that school. Are you seeing any kind of push from national brands to say, hey, we're willing to sign these guys, but we're going to want something in return?
It's interesting because in the first year of NIL, you mostly saw smaller local or regional businesses get involved in NIL, and the big companies kind of stayed away because the rules were shifting so much that they didn't feel comfortable getting involved. It got tangled in their legal departments, and Dr. Pepper was one of the only major national brands that really dove in at the very beginning. Now we see, the Nikes and the Gatorades and Adidas and everybody else coming in, and so those deals are happening, but they do seem to be reserved for that top 1% sort of athlete, at least at the national brand level.
So you're an author, and you've written a book called The Athlete's NIL Playbook. So for that player that would come to Christy and say, Christy, I need your advice. Like, how do I traverse these waters moving forward? I'm about to go to a big SEC school. What kind of advice would you give them starting out?
Yeah, that's actually how the book came about, was just the sheer volume of emails and DMs I was getting from athletes and from parents, and not just in football and men's basketball, but every sport and really at every level. I mean, I know some athletes who are killing it at the D3 level who you wouldn't know their names, but they're doing an amazing job with NIL and making some serious money for themselves. And so I wanted to put together a guide that would help everybody from, the 12-year-old volleyball player who has 1,000 followers on social media, all the way up to those guys that are having the conversations with collectives and signing those kinds of contracts. So the book really spans case studies of athletes at different levels and using NIL in different ways, and then digs into some of the more complicated stuff that parents are having to help athletes navigate when they sign contracts. So I talk about certain words and contract terms to look out for if you're going to do these things on your own and you're not going to get, the advice of an attorney and you're not going to have somebody look at it. Or if you are going to, say you're going to hire an agent, I've got a whole list of questions you should ask an agent before you hire them, because unfortunately, there are some folks out there calling themselves agents who don't have your best interest at heart. So I really tried to make it a guide that athletes and parents could use to get going in this space and protect themselves going forward.
Chrissy, I want to touch on something you just said, because that was going to be my next question, because we have talked to coaches, current and former coaches at the college level, that said that this is a lot more prevalent than people are led to believe, with the rogue agents or the people that are not qualified to be representing, and they're out there for themselves. And instead of the normal agent fee of 3%, 4%, 5%, these cats are getting 20%, and the kid doesn't, he's none the wiser. How prevalent is that? And do you expect any kind of reform or maybe some guardrails or watchdog groups that start governing that?
this has been my soapbox since the beginning of NIL. So I am an attorney, and I at one point thought I wanted to be a sports agent. And so I've watched this space closely because when I was in law school, I worked at the WTA tour, and they did not have any sort of agent certification process like MLB and NFL and the NBA all have. And they had a lot of parents who were operating as managers and agents for the athletes, and it had become really problematic. And so they were writing their first agent code when I was there. And so I really watched it with college athletes, and we're seeing some of the same problems pop up, although it's largely not parents. I mean, there are a few problematic parents, but it's mostly people who hung out a shingle and started calling themselves an agent with no experience whatsoever in this space or any related space. I've had high school students and college students email me and tell me they're an agent representing some friend of theirs that plays football or basketball, which is always a really interesting email to receive. But you also have people who, you mentioned like charging rates that aren't appropriate. I've had student athletes come to me and agents have taken all their money from brand deals. And in fact, I had a few stories people told me for the book. Most of them wanted to stay anonymous. And I think that's why we don't know about more of this, is they're embarrassed. They don't want to tell people what has happened to them. And I know because you guys are located in Alabama, I'll tell you that the one athlete and parent who was willing to share their story about a bad experience was Darian Goborn, who was a gymnast at Auburn, and her mother, Takesha. They shared their story with me for the book, and they were the only ones who were willing to put their name to it, because it is sort of embarrassing for these athletes when they find themselves in these situations.
In regards to your legal background, we always throw this, this hypothetical situation out on this radio show, because a lot of callers and people that will text and tweet into the show, they'll say, well, look, there needs to be a legal agreement between the university and the player. And of course, now we're getting into the whole, are you going to be considered an employee of the university? And then all of a sudden we're talking about collective bargaining and all sorts of fun stuff. Do you see that this is where this is going to have to go to get those potential guardrails? Because with players being able to just leave at a moment's notice whenever they can, and maybe only having a side deal with maybe a cooperative, do you see that the universities and colleges are going to have to try to do something legally to make sure that these players stay put for at least a year or two?
Yeah, I think we're seeing in the revenue sharing contracts that are coming out that they're starting to try to do that. Some of the ones I reviewed as I was writing the book would have clawback provisions where if an athlete transferred, there was actually money they had to pay back. There were buyouts similar to what we see in coaches' contracts. Sure, you can transfer, but that other school, that other collective has got to buy out your contract in order for you to be able to do that. And so we definitely see them trying to put mechanisms in revenue sharing that accomplish some of that. But I do still think over the next 10, 15 years that employment is on the table. I think under this current administration, it's not going to happen. And, I think that's widely believed throughout the industry. The Dartmouth men's basketball players who had won at the initial level of the National Labor Relations Board to be declared employees, they've withdrawn because they knew with the Trump administration coming in that it wasn't going to be as labor friendly. And so they withdrew, and they're not going to continue to pursue that right now, but it will come back around. And I still think it's a very real possibility that down the road, football and men's basketball players in particular will be declared employees and will collectively bargain and will have uniform player contracts like we have in the pros.
As far as how a lot of these deals are structured, we heard from a coach yesterday that said some of these schools have gotten wise and they're doing these deals based on not a lot of money up front, and it might be a lucrative deal, but it's a per month contract. How prevalent is that with some of these big time programs and maybe learning from their mistakes? They're in the infancy of NIL.
Yeah, I think that's pretty prevalent in the revenue sharing contracts, but also in the NIL contracts that are coming from collectives. I would say the last couple of years that has become more and more prominent, that you see those monthly sort of payments that can be cut off pretty quickly because, collectives were losing money and were ending up in situations where somebody transferred and they felt like they'd spent a lot of money and not gotten what they paid for out of it. So definitely contracts have moved in that direction.
We're talking to Christy Dosh. You can find her work there at Forbes. She's the founder of Business of College Sports. She's an adjunct professor there at the University of Florida. She's the author of the Athletes NIL Playbook. Spending a little bit of time with Christy today on Three Man Front about NIL. So you were talking about one of the interesting stories that you have in your book, but is it more prevalent than people think in regards to maybe a student athlete having a discussion with a cooperative or even with a school that they're going to get X amount to come to school there, and then basically when they get there, it is not exactly the way that it was represented to them just to get them on campus? Is that as prevalent as we think it is?
Absolutely. I can't tell you the number of stories that I end up hearing about it. And, some of them end up making the news. You've got the Jaden Rashada case against the University of Florida, where there was an actual contract. In most of these cases, it's a bunch of text messages, maybe some emails, a lot of verbal promises, but there's not a lot to hang your hat on. And so pursuing legal action is a little tougher. But, in the Rashada case, there is a signed contract. So I've been watching that case really closely to see what ends up happening there. But you've got the men's basketball players at Florida State that have now brought an action. You've got Sluka out at UNLV who sat and decided not to play because he wasn't getting what he thought he was going to get. So I do think that that's happening. And I also think you've got guys who are being induced into the transfer portal with promises, and then the team doesn't even pick them up. So I do think that that's happening a lot out there. And athletes and their parents are going to start getting smarter about it. They're going to get more things in writing. And at least then you have a pretty good shot of going to court and winning your case.
We thought initially when this came out that with some of these inflated numbers at the time, whether it was a $2.5 million for a premium elite quarterback, that we would have somewhat of a market correction. But now we're just seeing more inflation, more escalation of these deals. And it's not just a quarterback where, depending on the year, how many guys are in the portal, defensive lineman, a mid-tier defensive lineman, it kind of started at $500,000 this year, we were told by one insider. Do you see a market correction in the future, or do you think some of these inflated numbers just continue to grow?
Yeah, I mean, I thought there would be a correction as well, especially after money got paid out to some people who maybe didn't pan out once they got into college. You saw offers being made to juniors and seniors, and it's like, you don't even know what they're going to be like when they get there. So that was kind of nuts to me, and maybe isn't how I would choose to spend my money, but we have seen those deals grow. Michigan just signed a 4-year, $10 million deal with a quarterback. So there's got to be a ceiling there somewhere, but we apparently have not hit it yet.
Well, Christy, one thing's for sure. I mean, you're a good old Southern gal, and you know how high school football is in the Deep South. Yes. And I'm just curious your opinion on where this is going from an NIL standpoint, even at the high school ranks. I know some states already have that. We in Alabama have been kicking the can down the road. So I'm just curious where you think that this is going to go from the high school level.
Yeah, I grew up in Georgia in the Atlanta area at a high school that won the state championship twice in the 4 years that I was there. And so I've watched Georgia and Florida in particular really closely because they didn't jump on the bandwagon at the very beginning to allow high school athletes to monetize, which is interesting because these southern states that have sort of blocked high school athletes from earning were some of the first to allow college athletes to earn. And now we've seen Georgia and Alabama both introduce bills to exempt athletes from their taxes based on NIL deals. You would think that there would be a greater movement at the high school level, and there hasn't been. But now we're at a point where over 30 of the states allow high school athletes to do NIL deals, and you're seeing athletes, especially top-ranked athletes, move into other states or into private school programs where they can earn because they're potentially giving up tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, in some cases, maybe $1 million+ to not, do NIL deals in high school. So I think the pressure is there for everybody to move towards that. And then the question is, what kind of pressure that puts on a teenager and the pressure it puts on parents who've got to negotiate those deals and look over everything and ensure that they're putting their athlete in a good position. So parents are the ones I hear from the most. In fact, I run an entire Facebook group full of parents, mostly of high school athletes, trying to figure out how to navigate this for their kids.
I don't know if there's an easy way to ask this, but are national brands more hesitant to maybe have one particular player to endorse them out of fear of angering maybe rival fan bases from supporting their company or buying their product?
Good question. I haven't heard that come up. I've heard some arguments around teenagers are unpredictable and that, as a national brand, at what point do you feel safe investing in someone that they're not going to, make a misstep? And so we see those clauses in contracts like you see in pro athlete sponsorship contracts too, that would allow a brand to get out of it. Say if a student athlete got into a wreck and got a DUI, Nike wouldn't want to be associated with that and would have the ability to pull out. So I think there's been a little hesitation to put a lot of money into high school athletes. And the only exception really has been the apparel brands, Nike and Adidas, even Under Armour a little bit. They're doing more and more deals with not just high school athletes, but even younger than that, on both the men's and the women's side, because they want to lock in these players they think are going to go through college and into the pros, lock them in early so that they have a longer career with them.
Christy, this has been an outstanding conversation. I hope you'll come back. We really appreciate your time and your expertise on this subject. And I know it changes, it's fluid every single day, and we appreciate your expertise. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
That's Christy Dosh joining us on the Buyers Right Hotline for all your insurance, financial, and HR needs. It's Buyers Right Insurance, a Higginbotham partner.
Well, Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. Over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. All-Star Weekend is almost here this weekend, in fact, and Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching your favorite players during the game and the Saturday night events like the three-point contest. What you need to do is just go to Prize Picks, download the app today, fill out your account information, get everything set up, enter promo code WJOX. This is very important. When you do that, your first $5 play, win or lose, doesn't matter. You're going to get $50 instantly kicked back to your account. Once again, download the Prize Pick app today. Enter promo code WJOX. First $5 play, win or lose, you get $50 instantly back to you. You can't lose with that. Prize Picks, we appreciate their partnership here on Jocks 94.5.
More three-man front coming up. We'll take your text, your calls as well on the Courtesy GMC text line. This is three-man front on Jocks 94.5.
Oh, 12:53, three-man front. Landrum, Pat, Conrad, Molly, and you. I love seeing this. I love it when people get together and just in time for Valentine's. We got country star Lainey Wilson revealing her engagement to former Sanford and NFL player Duck Hodges after 4 years of dating.
Love
Congratulations, you kids.
Way to go, Duck.
Yep. I told you I went to the Steelers Sunday night game and Roethlisberger was hurt, so I got to watch Duck Hodges.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. You got I brought you a towel back from that game.
You did. I met Duck and interviewed Duck. I used to do a show with Scott Griffin, and Scott and I went over to Sanford the start of their fall camp when Duck was the starting quarterback for Sanford, and their practice was at 6:00 in the morning. And then he came over and did an interview and kind of struck up a friendly relationship and just a really good dude. And then he started dating her, and I was like, wow, that's pretty daggum cool. So congratulations to Duck Hodges. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I knew him quite well growing up. He went to he played his high school ball at Mortimer Jordan and ran in a lot of the same
Blue
circles.
Devils.
That's right. So they were our big rival in high school, and so yeah, good for him. Happy for him.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the joke that just keeps on giving, we'll call that. Carl Ravitch, ESPN, what he said, the whole 500 mark in conference play. We'll try to sum it up for you. But Mark Pope, Kentucky head coach, at his weekly press conference, this is how it went.
Coach, everybody talks about the SEC being the best conference in college basketball, but the conference is just 500 since conference play started. What do you make of that?
I think it's been a really disappointing start to conference play. I feel like we should, I feel like we're not living up to the expectations, just being at 500 as a conference. And I just, I'm kind of looking around at the other programs in the league, but like, guys, we got to pick this up. This is embarrassing. And so we'll find a way. I believe in this league. I think we definitely have an upside, and we're going to work really hard to get there.
That is great. It's been really disappointing just being at 500. Is it living up to its expectation?
And what's going to get lost in this is Archie Miller, the coach from Rhode Island. He got all this started, but Carl Ravitch is going to be the one falling on the sword.
And I'm sure Carl will address it this weekend, whatever game he's on. Is he doing Alabama-Auburn?
See, and I don't know what game he's doing.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Whatever.
Schulman. I think somebody said
him
Schulman.
and Bill are doing it?
That's what one of our listeners said.
Okay.
I trust our listeners.
Okay.
Whatever game he does, though, he needs to open it up with, the Big East is only, 82 and 82 in play off of it.
Yeah.
Be self-deprecating. People will get over it very quickly if you can make fun of yourself.
We've got 1 hour to go here on Three Man Front. We got plenty of text messages. Great suggestions in regards to if you're going to rename the IBOB, the basketball game, what are you going to name it? We'd love to hear from you there.
Hate on the hardwood.
That's one option.
Hardwood hate.
That's another one. Courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450. Twitter, follow us at the number 3 Man Front. More of your calls as well. 1-800-239-WJOX. It is 1 o'clock, Jocks 94.5. Another hour to go before we take you up to the Paul Feinbaum Show, 2 o'clock, here on Jocks 94.5. Some of the headlines we've been covering today, the NFL Combine, that was announced today. 9 Alabama players, 4 Auburn players getting invites to Indianapolis. You just heard more blowback from Carl Ravage's comments the other night at the University of Texas when he was bragging about the SEC being such a tough league because in conference play, they're 82-82. I think technically now they're 87-87.
Not getting any better, Pat.
No,
they're
Just
not.
staying the same.
Trending the wrong direction. But trending in the right direction is the SEC because according to Jill Lenardi, 14. That's right. How would you like to be the 2 teams not invited? LSU and South Carolina. Do you fire both of your coaches because you could not make the tournament?
That's how Vandy feels in softball every year. They don't have a team.
I feel bad for South Carolina, not so much the other one.
Oh, LSU?
Yeah.
You got to be ashamed. We've also been taking your suggestions. If we rename the IBOB, we've had some great suggestions. Dixieland Duel, the Battle for the Heart of Dixie, Barner-Bammer Classic, the Copperhead Classic.
The Plaids versus the Plains.
Yep, that was another good one. So you can text us on the Courtesy GMC text line. And speaking of Courtesy GMC, you need to get out to Trustful and visit those great folks out there. And I'm talking about Josh Gargis, Drew Lawley, the outstanding team. How about Robert Doremus over there at the Pre-Owned Vehicles? He will take care of you. He's got 50 certified used vehicles ready to go right now on the ground. Check out their vast selection. Pre-owned inventory is just outstanding. I went by there just 2 days ago before all these rains came, and man, their inventory looked fantastic. How about a brand new GMC? Start off 2025 in style. They got $10,000 off MSRP on the hard-to-find 2025 GMC Sierra 1500 with the AT4X package. They have multiple to choose from there on the lot. They also have the 2025 Sierra Denali up to $10,000 off. There's only a few left of the 2025 SLTs up to $12,000 off the MSRP on that vehicle. So get by today and see them. Don't drive anywhere else. Just drive to Trustful, Courtesy GMC, or visit their online inventory at courtesybirmingham.com.
As we head down the stretch of this SEC basketball schedule, what would it take for Auburn or Alabama to fall off the one line? Would they have to lose? So how many games do we have left? We have, 7 left? Is that right?
I would think.
Would they have to go?
You'd have to lose
1-6, 2-5?
I think if you lose 3 of those games, you're at risk. Finish 4-3. It also kind of depends on who you beat and who you lose, right? If you beat Auburn twice, for example, that's going to help. But yeah, I would think even if you just go 5-2 the rest of the way, you're good.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And that should be doable.
But would that next team, would that just make a place for another SEC team?
You mean if they were to fall to a 2, like we saw with Tennessee falling out and then Florida taking?
Yeah, and with Florida and Tennessee, do you think that Tennessee do they get back on that one line? I don't see it.
I would say no.
I think it's very difficult for them to do that, but they do have Alabama at home.
This is true.
But losing twice to Kentucky, not so good. Splitting with Florida.
But that's what, Alabama and Auburn have done at this point, is putting themselves in a spot like we saw with Auburn. You lose to Florida, you stay the number 1 team in the country. I think both of them right now, I mean, obviously one of them is going to lose on Saturday. That's not going to move one of them off the one line because you'd have to fall below where Florida and Tennessee are, at least right now. And so that gives you a little bit of a buffer, I think.
Well, think of it this way, kind of work backwards on what he just asked. Who would have the potential from the SEC, just our conference, who would have the potential to knock those 2 teams off the one line?
You mean take their spot on the one line?
Yes.
It would be Tennessee and maybe A&M.
Maybe.
I think that's even a bit of a stretch. Probably just Tennessee.
But not Kentucky.
No.
Not Ole Miss.
No.
Not Mizzou. I mean, Mizzou's strength of schedule, not to mention the fact that those teams you're going to get a lot of quad 1 wins in conference play. But the pre-conference schedule, that's where Alabama and Auburn. That's why when Auburn lost at Florida against Florida at Neville Arena, Joe Lenardi laughed. He was like, they're not going anywhere off the one line.
Yeah, they have 13
I mean,
quad one wins.
I mean,
yeah.
the strength of schedule for Auburn and Alabama is tremendous. So just from an SEC standpoint, because I mean, I can't quote you rhyme and verse of the Big East and these other conferences who potentially could be a bid stiller or, move up to the one line. But from an SEC standpoint, I only think there's a couple teams that can knock Auburn and Alabama off that one line.
I'm just trying to compare what overall record is I from past number 1 seeds that we've gotten. And if there's anything close, I know that strength of schedule has a lot to do with it, but has there been, what's the most losses a number 1 seed has ever had heading into a tournament?
It's a good question. I do not know that.
I don't either.
But it feels like if somebody is going to take that spot, let's say Houston, for example, or a Purdue, right? Those are teams that are slotted in the 2 line right now. I mean, you would assume that, again, barring, Alabama or Auburn losing 3 or 4 of their last 7 games, those are teams that are going to have to go and probably maybe lose one more game the rest of the way, and you're going to have to win your conference tournament as well. I think they're in a good spot right now.
Texas A&M is going to be an interesting team to watch. They have they've been that sneaky team nobody's really paying attention to, but 19-5. They're 7-5 in quad 1 games. And I asked the question because Alabama and Auburn, clearly right now, it looks like that they've separated themselves. Mm-hmm. Now, there will be separation between those two coming up, but
I mean, maybe it's blasphemy for me to say this, and Conrad will get mad, but when I watch these two basketball teams, just my opinion, I see more warts on Alabama's team than I do Auburn.
What
100% agree with that.
What warts do you see?
They don't take care of the basketball. I think
turnovers is a problem.
I think Auburn's got a better defense than Alabama.
They've been better shooting threes this year than Alabama has.
Yeah.
Alabama, though, but because of their tempo and their pace of play when they're on,
I still think Alabama has the highest ceiling of any team. Like if Alabama plays a perfect game, I do not think anybody can beat them.
No, I agree with that.
How quickly they can score.
But if you've been poor at defending for the entire year, it's not like you become a great defensive team just in time for the tournament.
Now, I will say this. Their defense is, because of their bigs down low, better than it has been in the past. Now, it's been a real problem before. I don't think it's that thing that's going to potentially keep them out of the Final Four. I'm more concerned when I watch Mark Sears dribble the ball 27 times when he's standing in the free throw lane and not distributing the ball. That's a problem.
I would agree with that. And I think let's look at last year. Again, granted, completely different teams, but defensively, Alabama was significantly worse last year than they are. They're still not great this year, but they were worse last year. And while they weren't great defensively in the tournament, they stepped it up a little bit. And so I'm not saying that they're going to do that again this year, but maybe that gives you a little bit of optimism. But, I totally agree with what you said, Pat. I think Alabama certainly has more warts. Auburn's been just so consistent. That's what's so good about them. Yeah. They don't have a glaring issue that
Broom's out of the lineup,
flares
no
up
problem.
every other game. Yeah.
Chaney Johnson, Denver Jones steps up the other night, and all of a sudden, it's like you don't need Baker Mazzara or Janai Broom to do anything. Those others step up and they fill that gap. Alabama, to me, their entire roster is better than Auburn's. But I think Alabama has been more inconsistent at times than Auburn has been. And so that's why moving forward, if you compare the two teams, I think Auburn is a more solid potential to be a number 1 when it's all said and done than Alabama.
Yeah, on the entire roster, that's close. So you think Alabama's better?
A little bit.
So I'm not going to say it's canceling out Janai Broom for Auburn. I guess it just depends on what night. Miles Kelly, he can be absolutely amazing for Auburn when he's on, but there's some nights that he just chooses it. Denver Jones, another one of those players. Tahad Pettiford, we've seen what he's been able to do as a freshman. Dylan Cardwell, he's a role player. Chaney Johnson. I guess the same can be said for Auburn, and some of their support players are guys that are viewed as role players and coming off the bench. What are you going to get from those guys? Now, Alabama, if you got Diabate going perfect from outside the arc and Alabama knocks down 17 threes, I'll save you the suspense. They're going to win that game on Saturday. But if it kind of holds true and they've done what they've done for the average of the season, or at least the SEC schedule, The turnovers will get you beat, though, against a good team.
Yeah, they absolutely will. And I think the conversation about the roster, again, we're splitting hairs, but I think it's similar to just looking at the teams in general. I think Alabama has more talent. I think more guys that are on Alabama's roster will find themselves in the NBA eventually than what's on Auburn's roster, but I also think you have more experience on Auburn's roster and more consistency. So
what about X's and O's?
I think it's a wash.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I mean, we're splitting hairs with all these.
And it's two completely different styles.
It is.
It is. I would give Auburn the edge, if we're going to call it special teams. Inbound plays. Drawn up inbound plays. Defending and drawing something up.
Well, and I think that's the thing for Auburn, too, is you can see that they seem to have a clearer plan when they're on the court in the sense of they know what they're supposed to do, whereas the way Alabama plays is more freestyle.
More helter-skelter.
And they're just letting the guys go out there and let the talent do the job for them, and sometimes it's great, and then other times, like you're saying, Pat, you can see it where a guy looks completely lost in the lane, and he doesn't know what to do with the basketball because they don't draw up plays typically. It's just go do your thing, figure it out.
Well, one thing's for sure. I mean, Auburn averages, they've got how many 25-year-olds on the team?
I think they just have, is it 2? I know Baker Mazar is 25. Oh, man, do we have the list from the other day? Because we went through this. I don't know if we still have the list, because Pat and I went through this the other day and looked at the ages. Because, yeah, I mean, that's certainly an advantage for Auburn come tournament time is they have a lot of guys that have played a lot of basketball.
The average age of the Auburn basketball roster is 21 years and 4 months. You got Mazar at 25. Jones at 24. You got Hudson at 23.
Turtle.
Cardwell's 23. Moore is 23.
Yeah, Janai's 23, right? Or is he 22?
He's 22.
Janai's just a baby.
Yeah, he's 22. Kelly's 22. Johnson's 22. Williams 21. Patterson 21. Scott's 21. They've got 4 players technically on the roster that are 19, one that's 20. So the average age is 21.4 on the Auburn basketball team.
That's an advantage, though.
We do have a lot more recommendations coming in on, instead of the IBOB of basketball or the IBOB, what we could name the rivalry. 205-834-9450. Bradley Farmer says the Crimson Orange Classic, or swap it to the Orange Crimson Classic when at the Cal College. Well, that wasn't nice at all. Updike Invitational.
Yeah, I don't think that one would fly.
I like this one. I think this could stick. Red Clay Rivalry.
See, then I think of tennis. Just for me. Just for me. Sorry.
Think of Red Clay. I think the state of Alabama. Look at tennis, French Open.
Just keep it an open mind.
This one rolls in. Zach Manning says, I think Auburn's big men are better than Alabama's, and I think Pettiford is the best freshman in the country. He's really good.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the best freshman. He's very good, but...
Yeah, I think Cooper Flagg's got that one cornered.
Yeah. But Pettiford's good.
Someone asked him if we'd seen Carl Ravish's tweets from yesterday trying to explain himself.
Yeah,
He just made it all worse.
Yeah, we went over that earlier in the show at 12:30 yesterday. He said that it was tongue-in-cheek. The 82-82 record was to illustrate any night either team can win. And then 3 hours later, he came back and said that he will take the L, my bad, my mistake.
Someone asking about the name Iron Bowl and where it originated, and asking, was it because that they played the game at Legion Field or the Old Gray Lady? No, it was because that Birmingham was considered the Pittsburgh of the South because of the steel, the iron ore, and all that good stuff.
And it wasn't Shug Jordan that coined the phrase? I think it was.
I don't know why I always think about Keith Jackson when somebody brings up the history of the name, because didn't Keith Jackson, he said something about there's shrapnel laying around.
Yeah, he says that after the game, it's so hard fought that you have nothing but iron and shrapnel left on the playing field.
Pat, I got some scoop for you in your matinee bet on New Jersey Institute of Technology.
Let's hear it.
Matt in Summit, New Jersey chiming in.
Yes, give me some info.
My coworker Mike, who went to NJIT, says they only joined a division because the soccer coach said they could beat a college. He states NJIT is terrible.
Okay.
Highlanders or Lancers? Highlanders.
By the way, it was Shug Jordan. I was right.
Shug.
Yeah.
Shug. Does Conrad say it right now?
Jordan?
Yeah. BB here. Julie's book should be mandatory reading for middle school athletes and their parents. Going back to
Christy Dosh.
Christy. Yeah. You were close.
Good stuff.
Will they add more games to the high school level? At least 2 games. No idea.
Is they talking football, basketball? What are they talking about?
I have no idea. No context. You guys are funny. Enjoy listening to you. I'm actually working, which is great too. I'm in sales. Y'all help me get through the day when I'm traveling. Go Highlanders or California Baptist at 4 p.m.
California Baptist, I've not played them this year, but they have a couple of games that I was eyeing and they won.
Just keeping that one in your back pocket for a rainy day?
I know. As a matter of fact, I think they beat Grand Canyon.
Oh, that's a good one.
I know.
That's a tournament team.
Because I was thinking about playing Grand Canyon. I was like, they're playing California Baptist. First of all, how many Baptists are in California? And how many of them play basketball? I can say that. I'm a Baptist.
It's a very good point.
And my brother's a Baptist
Are you
minister.
a Southern Baptist?
I'm a Southern Baptist. My brother's an independent Baptist.
Independent Baptist? What's the other kind of Baptist?
There's Free Will Baptist.
Okay.
There's all sorts of different. It all has to do where your money goes. If you give to the Southern Baptist Convention or it doesn't go to the convention, the church keeps it, goes to different mission groups, that type of stuff.
I thought it was what you ate for lunch after service.
No, it's if you say hello to them in the liquor store.
There it is.
I'm just kidding. It's a joke. It's a bad joke.
They're not saying hey to each other in the liquor store. Let's be honest, Pat. Come on.
What was it? The difference? Somebody told me one time the difference between a Baptist and a Methodist, and the Methodist puts it in a cup. Is that right?
That's good.
Hopefully we've
ticked off every
not offended anyone.
Potential Protestant
having
religion.
Look, I'm Pentecostal. You can all kinds of jokes people like to make. Yeah, hands.
We do behind your back.
That's fine. God's watching. Conrad knows.
I just go to a non-denominational church, so I'm.
You're one of those.
Well, I'm Southern Baptist, but the church I go to now is non-denominational, so I'm Switzerland.
I saw a great stand-up routine the other day. John Christ, you know about John Christ, comedian.
Paul Christ's brother.
Oh no.
Oh.
But he was doing different jokes on different denominations. This is my favorite. Have you heard the joke about Jehovah's Witnesses?
No. What is it?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
That was the joke. Molly got it.
Yeah. That was good.
Carl Ravitch behind the glass. It took him a second.
It did take me a second.
All the Jehovah's Witnesses out there.
I was like, are we not going to keep going here? But yeah.
No, that's all I'm doing. That's it. We're just having some fun.
We've made everyone so happy.
Yep. We do have 5 questions, and Conrad has a special edition of The Worst Thing I've Seen. Stay with us, 3-Man Front, Jocks 94.5. Everybody. Love. Come on, Conrad. One time. Like you're at Jordan here. Hold on. Do what we got. Fourth quarter. Come on.
I don't know why. Just Denver took you for a big Bon Jovi guy, but
Bon Jovi?
I mean, I guess everyone likes Bon Jovi, but this is the most
Who doesn't
fired
like
up.
John Bon Jovi?
I know,
I
but
like
this
Bon
is the
Jovi.
most fired up I've ever seen you get for a song.
We're halfway there. Shot through the heart.
You want him to do the
Good
halftime
one.
show next year?
Ooh.
You know, he had issues with his vocal cords.
Oh, did he?
And I don't know
That's
if he's
sad.
back on tour, but he had to go, and I don't know if it was polyps or something that he had going on, but he had decided, I heard a podcast with him, and he said that he decided if he could not go back to his original form, he was just never going to sing again. That had to be heartbreaking. But I think
that's sad.
he's gotten better.
Do you know who his son is married to?
Bon Jovi's son?
Yes. You'll know.
Oh man, I don't off the top of my head. but-
Millie Bobby Brown, 11 from Stranger Things.
What?
Who?
Mhm. Have you never seen Stranger Things?
I have. Who is
Oh.
that one?
The main
The main girl.
with all the
Oh,
powers.
with the bald head?
Yep, they're married.
Millie Bobby Brown?
Millie Bobby Brown in real life.
Oh, okay.
Where are they
I knew she was
now?
married to someone's fan.
Yep.
Oh, wow. She looks totally different.
Yeah, with hair.
Well, the first season came out like almost 10 years ago.
I was about to
Okay.
say she's like an adult now
Yeah.
and has a full head of hair.
She
Yeah.
doesn't look like a little boy.
No, she does not.
Hmm.
Good for them. Look
Yeah.
at man, just love is in the air
It
today.
is.
Lainey Wilson and Duck Hodges, Millie Bobby Brown and Bon Jovi Jr., whatever his name is. Yeah, it's great. What's his name? Do you know?
His name? Let's see.
Jake Bon Jovi.
There you go. Thank you, Molly.
I like that.
Jake.
Good for them. Young love.
There's nothing like it. I seen if we had any. I thought that there was one other. Oh, I have no idea what that is. I thought there was one other big item of news when it came to relationships and celebrity couples. Did I miss?
There's probably something out there that we missed.
Any word on Aaron Rodgers? How he's taking the announcement from the Jets that
He's
he's
probably
not going to be in their future?
It's probably in the darkness. We'll wait until he comes on whatever day he's on with McAfee.
If you were the New Orleans Saints, would you make a run at Aaron Rodgers?
Yes, 100%.
How much
Carr is
would you?
bad.
How much would you be willing to pay Aaron Rodgers? Is he going to take a 1-year deal?
A 1 year. I mean, if you're going to give him for 1 year, I mean, if he would take $30 million for 1 year, I'd take a flyer on that for Aaron. I mean, their quarterback situation is bad.
Would that change if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Saints? Would that change how you view the Saints right now heading into the season? Or do they have too many other pieces?
Potentially. I mean, you've got something to work with there with Olave at receiver, and Kamara's still kind of doing his thing. Defensively, you've got some work to do, but I mean, you play in, I guess, the second weakest division in football. Either them or the AFC South would be the weakest. So you have to feel like there's an opportunity. Again, if you can get them for 1 year and feel like you can go to the playoffs this year, I think that's definitely worth it. But
Well, Mina Kimes says that Tennessee makes the most sense.
I could also see that. Unless they are taking a quarterback.
And Adam says he wants to play on the West Coast.
Well, he's a
I can
California
see
guy.
that. Yeah.
49ers?
Raiders.
Well, Raiders is far enough. It's not exactly the coast.
No, but I mean, I don't think the 49ers, I don't think they would do that.
According to Vegas, as of this moment, they've got odds listed for the Jets quarterback in week 1.
Where he'll play?
No, not Aaron Rodgers, who the Jets will have as their
Oh.
quarterback
Okay.
in week 1. With 5-2 odds plus 250 on the money line, any rookie quarterback,
Okay. Well, there you go.
any rookie quarterback coming in with the second best odds is Justin Fields.
Okay. I was about to say he's out there. Russell Wilson's out there.
Russell Wilson's next at 4-1. Sam Darnold is at
Yes.
5-1.
That's the one.
he is.
That's the one.
Kirk Cousins
Oh,
is 7-1.
God, he still owed so much money.
Mitchell Trubisky is 9-1 odds.
Mac Jones.
Teddy Bridgewater is 10-1. Let's see if
that list is horrifying.
Mac Jones comes in at 25-1.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
that's good value.
Andy Dalton 33-1.
Yeah.
Wow.
Daniel Jones 33-1.
No, DJ.
Jimmy Garoppolo at 40-1.
I just love how we've come full circle, and I think their best option so far on that list is Sam Darnold,
Yeah.
based on what he did this year.
All right, so here you asked me, and I'm going to give them to you. The team with the best odds to land, Aaron Rodgers, according to Las Vegas,
Can we
right
guess?
now.
Can we guess?
Sure.
I'm going Raiders.
What about the Titans?
Okay.
Oh, well,
Do you want the Saints?
I don't think it's going to be the Saints. I'll double up. I'll say Raiders.
You say the Raiders? Raiders are number 2 best odds.
Mm.
Team with the best odds to land Aaron Rodgers, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ooh.
Okay.
Hmm.
Golly,
Okay.
man. Steelers are like the Braves, though. They
That
get these guys after they've already.
That is a
their better years.
165. The Raiders come in with the second best, followed by the Minnesota Vikings.
Skull.
Intriguing.
yeah.
The San Francisco 49ers have the 4th best odds. The Saints, I just don't see him. There's no way that he'd go to the Browns.
No.
Could you imagine?
No,
No.
I couldn't. But they're listed. They have the same odds as the Saints, the Giants at 12-1. The Titans are 14-1.
There we go.
They're 14-1.
Tighten up.
Colts 16-1. Then the Seahawks, Jags, Panthers, Rams, Dolphins.
Dolphins. That might be a good play.
Well, they're going to need him for half the season. Inevitably.
It's odd. You got the Dolphins, Cowboys, and Cardinals all with the same odds.
Aaron Rodgers is a Steeler. I don't know though.
I mean, he'd be the best quarterback you had since.
You got weapons. You're not gonna
Ben.
have. You're not gonna have Najee. But
No, but maybe
you
him
got-
and George Pickens just really.
you got
Oh, they'll,
Pickens.
really
they'll,
get
they'll
along.
jive real good.
Something tells me that Aaron Rodgers might have some problems with the way he handles himself, but could be wrong.
I think.
And obviously, wherever he goes, they also have to have room for Devontae Adams. So, because we know that's that's inevitable.
Yeah, and how many of these franchises are gonna say, look, he's not gonna come in here and just start dictating. But if you're willing to pay that amount of money for Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career to come and take over, I guess that kind of comes with it. Or is Aaron Rodgers just say, you know what, I just give me a ball and a uniform. I just want to play.
I mean, the 49ers would obviously be the cool one because I think that would be the best chance for him to go and have success, but I just don't think they would do that to Brock Purdy.
Are you pulling for Aaron Rodgers to have a great deal of success?
Not particularly. I mean, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to root against him, but I just hope we don't, whatever team he goes to, we're going to drum up this excitement like we did 2 years ago. And I mean, I know he got hurt and that was awful. The guy won 5 games in 2 years with the Jets. Like, do we really know what we're getting at this point?
Well, if Stafford goes, though, to the Jets, then maybe Aaron Rodgers
goes to the Rams.
Okay, would you rather have Aaron Rodgers or Matthew Stafford as your quarterback next year?
Matthew Stafford.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers sell more tickets.
He will. But I agree. I think Stafford would be a
I think
better
that's an easy
option.
pick, yeah.
He was
Okay.
very good this year.
We do have 5 questions that Pat has prepared. We will try to answer those. Pat Ponders is next on 3-Man Front.
It's 1:35, Jocks 94.5. The Paul Feinbaum Show will be on at 2 o'clock on most of these stations across the Jocks Network. A reminder that the Iron Bowl of basketball can be heard right here on Jocks 94.5 Saturday afternoon. Sunday afternoon over on Jocks 2 100.5. It's the Bartow Classic at Bartow Arena as UAB is hosting South Florida. Portions of the ticket proceeds to Sunday's home game for the Blazers will go to the O'Neill Cancer Research Center. That's a wonderful, wonderful cause to be a part of. So get an opportunity, go to the game, watch some good basketball, hopefully a UAB win, and also help out those that are trying to find a cure for cancer.
5 riveting questions from Pat. We try to give responses. This is Pat Ponder.
Brought to you each and every day by Courtesy GMC in Trussville. Exit 32 off of I-459, Edwards Lake Road, next to Lowe's. Go by and see them. Over 50 pre-owned vehicles right now on their used lot. Go by and see them. That's courtesybirmingham.com. Question number 1. Who had a more near-death experience and was the closest to being fired before their championship? Ryan Day or Nick Sirianni?
When you started that question, I thought you were going to turn that into me falling down the cave.
I think Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, because there was, it seemed like he might have been gone last offseason. That was kind of a big rumor. So yeah, I would go with Sirianni because people were not happy with him last year at all.
I was going to say the tail end of last season, like Conrad said, people were not happy and everyone was kind of unsure of what this year would look like. So I think Sirianni.
Well, how long did it take the Eagles? How many seasons for Peterson after he won a Super Bowl?
Oh, like how many years was he there before they won a Super Bowl?
No.
Before they fired him.
Before they fired him.
Oh, like 2 or 3 years? I mean, it wasn't a very long time.
NFL, they don't wait around.
They forget real quick.
But so does the other team that goes and hires you real quick. Even if you were dreadful as a head coach.
Correct.
Great league to be in.
See Texas A&M.
Golden Parachute League. Yeah.
I was about to say, it's like once you get in.
You're in that fraternity.
Yep.
His last year was 2020, and they went 4-11 with a tie. It
was the pandemic.
And they won that.
Yeah.
Wait. They won the Super Bowl in 2019, didn't they?
2018.
2018. Okay, so 2 years. I was like, did they fire him the next year?
Fly, Eagles,
2 years.
fly.
See Gene Chizik.
Fair enough.
Coach O. Larry Coker.
A lot of short memories.
Yes.
Frank Solich. Wait. Yeah.
Well, there's a reason for that. Question number 2.
He was not a Southern Baptist.
In a post-Super Bowl poll conducted by Metric Wise Polling, they asked NFL fans why Taylor Swift was booed at the big game on Sunday. 44% said it was just Philly fans being Philly fans because they boo everyone.
Okay.
28% said the nation has had enough of Tay-Tay. 22% said it was because she did not endorse Trump for president. Why do you think the main reason was that she was booed during the Super Bowl?
All 3.
I think it was just Philly fans being Philly fans. I mean, they'll boo at anything that isn't associated with the Eagles. So
I'm kind of with you, Landrum. Like, I think it's a combination of all of those things because I don't think it was just Philly's fans.
I think your corporate business people that
were
were in attendance, they probably supported Trump, the majority of them.
Yes.
New Orleans folks, Trump.
I'd say, where was the game played? Yep.
And then the Philly fans. Yeah, if you're on the opposite side, I mean, they threw batteries at Santa Claus.
It's a good point.
So those numbers surprise you, 44%, just because Philly fans, they boo anyone. Remember, they booed Santa Claus. 28% because they said it was just fatigue. They're done with Swift. And 22% said it was because she did not endorse Trump.
I think it's all of those things. I mean, yeah, maybe if you had a different fan base in there, it wouldn't have been quite to the level that it was. But I think it was also just, I think part of it is just kind of an opportunity. If you're an NFL fan, is like it's almost like you're pushing back against that agenda, right? Of this is our opportunity to let her know that she's not more important than the game.
Well,
whether you think that's dumb or not, I think maybe that plays into it.
I think that just the fact that the poll was conducted and the question was asked tells you how polarizing she is.
True. Very much so. All right, question number 3. Now that the football season is over, what sport will you consume the most until August?
Baseball.
Because of number of games, it'll be Major League Baseball.
probably.
Go Braves. I will consume every single one of the Birmingham Stallions games.
Mm-hmm.
And then next, it would be golf, but mainly major championships.
You won't be watching the Masters.
I'll be watching at your house, big boy.
Come on.
I know how to get in. I know where the help door is.
Yeah, definitely baseball for me as well.
Baseball.
I won't be able to watch 162 games, unfortunately, but I'll probably watch about 80 or so.
I'm gonna go over to a lot of games. Barrett said he's gonna take care of me.
Oh,
There you go.
that's so sweet.
Hey, when the Yankees come into town,
What does it mean?
you
want to go?
Yes.
Okay, well, just say, Landry, I'd
It's
like
the
to go.
Friday after the All-Star game in Atlanta, and it's the same week as the SEC Football Media Days.
That's right.
Let's blow off media days.
I was about to say, is it a day game?
We go to batting practice.
That would be great.
Yeah, take you to Lenox Mall.
No, seriously though, if we can make that happen, let's do that.
Oh,
That'd be
that's
great.
so cute.
We'll go to.
Happy Valentine's
Y'all
Day.
can come too if you want.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't care to.
More for us.
Yeah.
All right, next question. This morning in my Dublin Times, I read that Saudi Arabia's ambassador to the United Kingdom announced that no alcohol will be allowed at the 2034 World Cup, and alcohol would not be sold anywhere in the tournament, including hotels. So I wondered if the college football playoff was played in Saudi Arabia, could college football fans survive without alcohol like soccer fans are going to have to in 2034?
No. No.
No.
You'd have a lot of Americans in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would. Nope.
Now, when it was in Qatar or Qatar, however you want to say it,
Say both, depending on the company I'm sharing.
they only sold alcohol if you were in a VIP area, but the hotels would serve alcohol.
Okay.
So the Saudi Arabian ambassador to the United Kingdom yesterday, he said there will be no alcohol. It will not be allowed at the World Cup at the stadium. Alcohol will not be sold anywhere during the tournament, including the hotels. Completely dry.
Yet they'll allow you to flog a woman in public.
Yeah, there it is.
Makes a lot
So
of
no-
sense.
Different set of rules over there.
So no CFP over there.
No.
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 I hope not.
Wait, so is alcohol illegal in Saudi Arabia, or is it just for this event because of how many people and the
I believe it
rowdy
is
it can be.
illegal.
well, to your point.
A lot of other things are illegal there too.
Yeah, and I'm not getting into it, but they also laid out other things that will not be allowed.
Gotcha. What a fun place.
So see, my subscription's coming up big time with the Dublin Times.
That's right.
On this date back in 1944, daytime talk show host Jerry Springer was born. Name your favorite TV talk show host of all time.
Oh man, it's going to take me a while if you kids want to start.
Oh, favorite talk. See, and I think this is going to be interesting because I guess like for our generation, that wasn't as big of a thing.
No, it wasn't.
I always like Letterman a lot. I thought his interviews were really good.
Oh, I thought we were going more of the.
Well, I said daytime talk show
Oh,
host.
daytime talk show host? Oh, Maury.
Okay. Maury Povich.
You're not the father.
So much. I spent way too much time in college watching that in between classes. It's the best trash TV. So good.
I don't know.
Mine was trash TV before trash TV. This was pre-Springer. Geraldo Rivera.
Al Capone.
Well, Al Capone, do you remember the white supremacist and the fight that broke
That
out?
broke his nose.
It broke his nose?
Yep.
You get some serious trash on that show back in the day.
Yep.
This is going to sound really sad, but the only daytime talk show I've ever really watched was during COVID. And it was like the Kelly Clarkson show. So
That's
maybe
fine, that's
her.
fine. That's fine, Molly.
That's like the only one I've seen.
I thought you were going to say Oprah.
No, I've never seen Oprah.
Phil Donahue. Grew up a little bit of Phil back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, he always reminded me of Bobby Crimmins with glasses.
He did. That's because he was premature gray.
Yeah.
Like Bobby Crimmins.
Wait, so did y'all watch Oprah a lot?
No.
Mm-mm.
What about Dr. Phil?
I mean, I watched Oprah a little bit, but Dr. Phil.
I feel like I watched more Dr. Phil growing up, or that's what my mom watched, I guess. So that's what I watched.
What about Montel? I watched a little Montel. I think who else?
There was a million of them.
John and Lisa.
See, the only thing I remember
John
my
Tesh.
mom watching is Days of Our Lives. That's about it.
Daytime.
Oh, her and Damien have a lot to talk about then.
Oh, they do.
All right, that's today's Pat Ponders, brought to you by Courtesy GMC and Trustful. Goodbye and see them off of I-459 exit 32 in Trustful.
Conrad's got a worst thing I've seen, and we'll do it next. 3-Man Front and Jocks 94.5. 151, three-man front on this Thursday. Must-see TV at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. Pat's New Jersey Institute of Technology taking on Bryant, the Bulldogs. 16.5, is that the line?
I am getting a current spread as
a lot of people firing in based on your advice.
By the way, California Baptist is a 1.5-point favorite against UT Arlington.
That line moved, according to one of our listeners.
Oh, no. What is going on here?
Uh-oh. Off the board.
Hold on. Just give me a second. Where'd it go? Oh, it is not on the board.
Mm-mm. Who are we blaming?
Probably all the action. I think probably integrity. Probably halt any more betting after we talked about it for an hour. They said, well, you normally get about $20 on this game, and then all of a sudden.
Why all of a sudden do we have?
Why did all these people in the area code of 205?
That would be something, wouldn't it?
I'm telling you. I mean,
and our listener from Florida who just loaded up.
Hey, Molly, seriously, look, I'm sitting here and I'm looking even additional lines and things of that nature, and I am not seeing it. You've got Monmouth and Stony Brook. And you got California Baptist and UT Arlington.
Where are you getting your lines? I'll try another one.
The one that we normally go to.
All right, hang on. Let me try this other one.
You got Columbia and Dartmouth at 5, St. Mary's at Niagara at 5:30. Yeah, I don't see it. Well, that was a good conversation. Nope, I found it. Here we go. Ooh, it's at 17. It has moved. Mm-hmm. Thanks to us.
That's what he said.
I have it at 17.
You got it at 17? Mm-hmm. Yep.
How do you have it? I don't. This particular site does not have it, and you can see what it is.
Yep, I got it, and Molly's got it.
California Baptist 1.5, got that one. Got Binghamton and UMBC. Got Albany and UMass Lowell. Delaware and Townsend. Charleston, UNC Wilmington. Go Seahawks. What? Where is it?
Molly's looking at Vegas Insider, right?
Yeah.
Well, Molly, fire in.
She already has.
I did hours ago.
As soon as we started talking about it, she fired in.
You know what? If Molly does give us like the Detroit Mercy pick that she came out of nowhere with and won last year, which was really incredible, then I will listen and I will.
Is this your American East game of the year?
No.
Are you going to have one this year?
I might. It has to like come to me.
Does it have to come to you in a dream?
Like a sixth sense, you know.
Told you in college one time I had a dream, and then I was told I talked in my sleep, and I said take the Seahawks, and so I bet on them the next day, and I won.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is too rich for my blood now. 17.
Ooh, 17.
It was 16 when I saw it this morning.
No, you took NGIT. Ingit plus the 17.
I haven't done anything.
Oh, well, you better fire in.
Why?
Oh.
That's why I was asking for advice.
Integrity or Costa Nostra.
I don't feel comfortable.
See, but now we all feel like we've wasted an hour of our lives helping you with this.
Crap.
No, I was asking for
nothing.
I was asking your opinion, and I got it, and it did not sway me one way or another. So I will probably.
Then what's our opinion worth, Landrum? Not much.
Well,
Landrum has got $2.27 in his account, and he can bet it all.
No, I don't.
And let it ride.
I've got $21.53 in my account.
Well, add $8 to that now, thanks to YouTube.
Yeah, you're a rich man.
We see good, we see bad. Conrad has seen some bad. This is the worst thing that Conrad has seen.
Well, something like this was bound to happen eventually. I think we've all been waiting for potential side effects of these weight loss drugs that have risen in popularity the last couple of years, Ozempic obviously being the most prominent of those. And let's be honest, it kind of seemed like a miracle drug at first, and then you go and you're like, sure, there's probably going to be repercussions from this somewhere down the line. Well, a recent study has unveiled what may be a negative side effect of using these weight loss drugs such as Ozempic. And that would be a loss of libido. There are a number of reports of people who have used Ozempic or similar weight loss drugs that have reported back, whether it's a male with low testosterone or females who simply just don't have the urge to get intimate with their significant others anymore. That seems to be one of the more prominent side effects of all of these drugs. So there was, again, a recent study that was done and going through some of the issues that you may have. Low testosterone has been very prominent. Erectile dysfunction is another one that has been very prominent. And so while I guess there's an irony to this, because obviously Ozempic, which helps people lose weight, has made a lot of people feel more confident about themselves and their body image, but now they are suffering from these unfortunate side effects where they feel better about their body and themselves or their partner, but they no longer have the urge to get it on.
Well, thank you, Conrad.
Unfortunately, we've had a lot of good stories about love today, and that was a little bit of a downer.
Love hurts. But Valentine's Day, that might light a spark in some of these folks, right? We hope so. NGIT +17.